Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Providence City Council meeting for Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. It says 25 on here. So we'll need to correct that in the minutes. It's always good to have a room full, have people here to talk about what they're thinking about and what they have their voices heard. So I'm Mayor Kathleen Alder, and we have Scott Campbell, Brent Speth. We'd like to excuse Janelle Seeley. She's at Girls Camp. We were just debating whether or not she would rather be here than at Girls Camp and camping. And Carrie Kirk is here, and David Coons. Somebody tell me, please. If I start losing my memory.
I can't help you.
Okay, so we will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Brent Speth and an opening prayer by Carrie Kirk. So if you'll all please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to give a plug for a movie. If you haven't been to see Young Washington, you should go. It really is excellent. It's well done and gives you some insights into George Washington. That along with the series, what was the name of it, Scott?
I'm drawing a blank. Revolution.
The American Revolution. It's on PBS. Both excellent tutorials of our country and what's gone on in our country. So if you haven't seen them, you should. Let's do council reports.
Prayer.
Oh, we do need a prayer.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like the privilege of praying? I'll say it then. Our eternal Father in heaven, we bow our heads and we express gratitude to live here in this free country where we enjoy so many opportunities. We're grateful for the city of Providence and for the staff and volunteers who make this city run so well. We're grateful for the residents who are kind and loving to each other and who reach out. Heavenly Father, we pray that we can be inspired as we discuss our needs this night. Bless that we can follow the promptings of thy Spirit and that we can all be kind and understanding with each other. And we offer this prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, let's have council reports. Scott, let's start with you.
Sure. Working on a few different things. The Healthy Utah Community designation, we had it a while back. I still need one more committee member. So if there's someone who is excited about Providence being a healthy community, come talk to me and we'll see about getting you on the committee. And we're close to getting that done. I'll get that information to you, Mayor, as well. Cache Trails Committee meeting happened this week. Just some reports on existing things that I've reported on before, as well as I guess Tony Grove has some issues where some of the boardwalks have collapsed, some of the benches have collapsed. There's a significant erosion problem on their trail. The rest of it is pretty up front. America 250. Mayor, did you get my email by chance on that?
I did.
Okay, good.
And I was going to talk to you about it tonight.
Okay,
so.
that sounds good. And we're trying to move forward with some kind of a change of plans possibly on that because of some issues. And then just talking to community members and trying to understand their points of view on different issues that have been going on around here. That's my report.
Thank you. Brent?
I went down and participated with the processing of sauerkraut, getting it cut. I went down and helped prepare things and got things ready. I didn't I didn't see it to the end, but I was there and helped out. I want to give a shout out to all that went and participated in the cutting and of the sauerkraut and preparing it.
We did 500 head,
Yes, it was a lot. It was a lot.
500 heads of cabbage. That's what we cut up.
Was it 1,200 pounds? I think that's what they
Mhm.
said, 1,200 pounds. So
There were 25 cases, and there were like 10, anywhere from 9 to 11, depending on how big the heads were. But
yeah,
that's a lot of cabbage.
that's a lot of cabbage.
Cases are usually 50 pounds, so
Yeah,
that's a bunch.
that was a
It
bunch. But I do want to shout out to all those who went down and participated and helped out. I want to especially give a shout out to Joe and Roxy Bates. I talked to them earlier in the week and I said, hey, if you're not doing anything on Saturday, come down and help us cut sauerkraut. By golly, they did. And I really appreciate them coming. That was great.
Yeah, it was a great group, and they all stayed as long
Except
as they
me.
could. Well, it's okay. You were
Yeah.
there before everybody else, so
I got there a little early, but I did wash a lot of dishes and got things ready, so that was good. Also, this week I wasn't able to attend the emergency management meeting as it came at the same time as I met with Ryan. Ryan and I had a good discussion, and so that's about my report.
okay, perfect. Thank you, Carrie.
Okay. I hope you're all having a lovely summer. I am, maybe one of the busiest of my life. This next school year, I'll have 3 high schoolers and I have 2 young adults. So it's kind of fun to be in the trenches and be all the places. I was excused from the last council meeting because I was on a humanitarian trip with 2 of my children in Uganda. And my other job, the one that pays a little more, I work for a nonprofit that works on clean water projects in Africa, and we have full-time teams in 5 countries. And so when I go there, I'm not doing the physical labor. I'm just taking the love and putting love on projects and faces on projects. And it's just such a sacred privilege. And it's also a sacred privilege to live in this country. And it was awesome to come back in time for the 4th and the 250 celebrations and recognize how blessed we are. And I hope you all recognize that. And as much as we can become frustrated with government and feel like ours is so dysfunctional, we've got nothing on dysfunctional governments. And I think we should all praise God for the blessing of living in this country. And it was incredible to witness the life-changing water projects that took place that were opened while I was there. Youth council applications are closed. We had about the same number of applicants as last year, 46 youth, and
Awesome.
they are just awesome. About half of them are returning and half are new. And we used to have a lot of young people, and now our council is just as much juniors and seniors as freshmen and sophomores. And they all are just so excited to participate in serving the community. I spent the last 3 days with 9 of them at Utah State at a leadership conference. And of those 9, 8 of the 9 have been on the council for 3 years or more. They just are invested in the city of Providence, and it's really fun to see that in the rising generation. Along with them on July 25th, if your calendars are free, it's a Saturday, we are going to be doing a big clean water. Most of the projects, the service projects we do are local, and I believe in local service. But this is one service project that we're doing to build a borehole or water well in Africa. And so we will be doing a Navajo taco stand at the Mendon City celebration on the 25th. So come on by. Sometimes the line can be long, but it will be worth it. And the youth council will be supporting that. I told them that you don't need to go to Africa and put mortar on bricks to serve people. You can do it right here, and we have the resources to do that. The Youth Council is also helping to prepare, well, and I am serving on the committee for the city celebration, which is coming up in August, on August 14th and 15th. And they will be participating in a lot of service at the city celebration. And the celebration is going to be awesome and exciting. I, like the rest of the council, have been receiving a lot of feedback on the rezone that's planned for tonight. I'll say this when we talk about the rezone, but there's been a lot of positive feedback as much as negative for the rezone. Often with rezones, we only hear from people who don't want it, but we're also hearing a lot from people who do. So it should be an interesting discussion. And that's one of the things that makes serving on the council so hard, is that you can never make a decision that doesn't disappoint at least someone. But we do our best, and we do our research and our homework, and I have been focusing on that since I got home. And that will be enough from me for today.
Okay, David.
I stayed in the country the whole month. So and I did see the Washington movie. That was impactful. It was well done.
Yeah.
I too have been reading all of the emails that have come in. There weren't as many this time as last month. Last month we got, I think, 38 pages or something like that. It was quite a lot. And Carrie's right. They were, at least in my estimation, split sort of half and half as far as opinions on what we should do. And so it makes the decision a little bit more difficult. In those cases, the last time we tabled that in hopes that the full council could be here and discuss, and now I'm disappointed that Janelle's not here, but we got to move forward, so we will. Last meeting, mayor signed the proclamation to become a Just Serve city, and they are in process of making a physical award for us, so they'll present that to us probably in the next meeting. I would guess. If it's not done, it might end up September, but I would guess the August meeting. A representative from Just Serve will be here to do that. I've got some additional projects added to the site. One of which is, as I've gotten out around just walking around town, I try to get out and walk a lot, and I've noticed a lot of the sidewalk paths, because of trees hanging low, take me out around a sidewalk, or I have to uncomfortably try to duck underneath. And so one of the projects is to help you and your neighbors trim up trees 8 feet above your sidewalk line, or 15 feet on the street side, just so that we have snow removal, we have garbage trucks. Even sometimes mail service has a hard time delivering if tree limbs are in the way. So that's one of them that will be on there. On the mosquito abatement, excuse me, West Nile virus has been reported in the valley once again. I think around Clarkston this time is where the trap was tested positive. So just be aware of that. Kind of, they say dawn to dusk, either wear long sleeves, which is tough in this weather, or stay inside, or put on some repellent at least to protect yourself from that. Next week there's a meeting I'm going to that will discuss how community leaders can interact with residents in regard to just the way that we're looking to implement AI in certain city functions, and that'll be interesting to see what they have to say about that. I think that's about it on my end.
Great, thank you. I too was able to participate in the cabbage cutting. It was fun to be there with that group and to get that done. Please put on your calendar the 14th and 15th. Friday night, the 14th, will be our parade, and that starts down at the church on 3rd South and comes up here, so it's not really that far. But last year, we loved the audience that we had. There were lots of people along the route, more than we've ever had. And so if you'll just tell your neighbors and friends and make sure you come and help us celebrate our city. And if you don't like sauerkraut, it's okay. Just come and celebrate. We're celebrating our heritage and the people who moved here and settled this area. My husband's ancestors were the Alders, and they were part of the first group that was here. And because they were German and Swiss, they had sauerkraut on the table all the time. So anyway, please come and celebrate with us. We'd love to have you there. Lots of things going on because we're trying to get some grants written so that we don't have to use our city tax dollars to do sidewalks and to do roads and to do pump houses and all those kinds of things. So it takes a fair amount of time to contact all the people to get letters of support from legislators and our federal legislators as well as our local. And so it's been a busy summer, and you can well imagine how hard it is to get people over the 4th of July, and everybody's trying to take vacation and then come back. So anyway, busy times. Let's close that portion of the meeting, and I'll take a motion for approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of, when was it?
It's June 17th,
Yeah, June 17th,
2026.
2026.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll abstain.
Thank you. So motion passes. We have some public hearings tonight. The first one is item number 2. This is a Council of Governments, a COG, application for street updates on 300 East Center to 200 North. Providence City will take questions and comments regarding the city's intent to apply for a COG grant for possible projects to include, but are not limited to, street updates on 300 East Center to 200 North. So, do you want to say anything about this update?
Yeah, I just every time we make an application to the COG for funding, we have to do a public hearing before we submit the application. So we've got 3 applications that we're considering. We can consider one or all, but at this point, we're getting public input on that. This first one is we have it designed, at least mostly designed, and it is the project we submitted last year. We weren't awarded that because of other good projects on the list, but we're bringing that project back again. So anyway, yeah, welcome to hear input about that.
Okay. Anybody here to speak about that?
Can we see the plan?
Yeah, I think I could pull something up. Give me just a minute. It's we're looking on 2nd or a 3rd East from Center Street to 2nd North, and I'll see if I can pull that up for you. Just give me just a minute. If you want, the other ones haven't had any design work done on them. This is the only one that has design work. If you want to have the public comment on either of those, I'll see if I can't find the design on that one.
Okay. So let's move to item number 3, COG application for street updates on 300 South Highway 165 to Gateway Drive. Providence City Council take questions and comments, apply for a COG grant for possible projects to include, but are not limited to, street updates on 300 South Highway 165 to Gateway Drive. So 3rd South is along by the bank over there on 3rd South. And so we're going to be applying for that. I think we get the money in 28. 28.
Can I
So
speak to
we're-
that a little bit?
Yes, we're kind of a ways out.
a year ago, I drove school bus on 300 South, and kids coming out of the housing area down there near the car wash would have to, a lot of them have to walk to school. Now, the developer put in some sidewalk through those, through their area there, but through Wayne Barlow's property, there is a space there, but there is no sidewalk there. And also, there's no sidewalk on the north side. Now, in Ryan and I's discussion about that, there seems to be, these property owners seem to be amenable to allowing a sidewalk be put in. Now, the developer did cover the ditch so that it has a dirt path, but in the wintertime, nothing gets done with it. And so the idea here on 300 South is, I don't know how far we're widening the road, but at least we're going to put in a sidewalk. Is that right?
Sidewalk, curb and gutter, and widening the road.
And
So at this point, it has it on the east and the west. There's just a middle.
the segments there.
And we're just going to finish. We would finish that just like we did on First South. So
Right.
this is the same kind of thing that we did on First South. We do it on Third South.
Finish those projects. And I'm not sure, we didn't discuss this. Are we putting a hash crosswalk there to go along Gateway Drive?
This would just be the expansion. We could add that. At this point, we could add that. We haven't added into the design yet. So we haven't started the design on that project. But
I think there's supposed to be some more development going on across the creek. I'm not sure, to the east, well, the south for that subdivision, or those high density homes.
yeah,
And we'll ultimately have youth walking.
Right.
And it would be nice to have a hashed crossing so the kids can cross over and continue on to school, whether they walk up to the elementary school or they go to the other school it's going to be.
Magnet School.
Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of my take on that as we discussed it.
Okay. Any comments on that? Number 2? You'll need to come up. You need to come up. We need your name.
So you're on Third South.
No,
and you're
wait till
going
you get
to
up here.
Gateway.
People can't hear you when
My
you're
name
not.
is Nancy Adams. I live in Providence. So you're going to Gateway Drive on Third South
yes.
because of people walking to the elementary school.
Part of it, yes.
Yeah, part of it. So could it include clear up Third South? Because you've got all the way up to Second West, the sidewalk does not go on either side.
So this project is just a small
Fill in.
fill in from here.
Well, and I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
have a question because you were pointing out that it's because kids are walking, but if you're concerned about the kids walking to Providence Elementary, then to me it should go clear up to Second West.
So
So-
we're working super diligently on getting sidewalks on every side of every street, but we have to fill out grant forms that will be
But yeah,
possibly
and
accepted.
I didn't know if that could be put in
Yeah.
there for that grant. That was the only question.
Not maybe this one, because this one's more road and sidewalk is the adjacent piece of this this particular one. So it's more of a road application, and sidewalk we're adding to help with that. So this would actually be traffic and the added benefit of the sidewalk, but it's going to be traffic as well. The other ones is more sidewalk specific. So maybe not on this one, but it can
Heavier
be.
down there than it is further up.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the traffic here would between Gateway Drive and 165 would be the highest of our traffic volumes in this core. So at this point, our core is that we're looking at is 165 to Gateway Drive. So First North is complete. First South has just been complete, and this would take us to Third South. That would complete our core between the SR 165 and Gateway Drive.
Yeah, and maybe another thing to look at too is though on Second West, you have all the traffic from the high school.
Yeah, and Second West is not currently a city road. That's a county road, so we don't have that.
Is it a state highway or
No,
county?
it's a county road.
Wait.
I will tell you, it is a county road and was traded for 1,000 West. It used to be a state, and it was a state road, and the state traded it to the county, and the county took it on when the state took on 1,000 West. I promise you, it is a county road.
I just,
But Second West is one that. But you'll see our
we're-
next one is Second West to try to solve that piece. But right now, it's a county road.
and so how are you gonna address that if it's a county road?
We'll get
see
to it. We'll get to it.
Mrs. Adams, thank you. We can certainly note your request to extend it from Gateway Drive up to Second West, or connecting sidewalks as much as we can. We appreciate your input. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. You've got your project up on number 1 or number 2.
Yes, I do
Okay.
have that now. Add it up. Okay. So on this one, this is the Third East project. So no, that's the Third South project. Third East project here. Third East project is from Second North to Center Street. It's on the project one, so at this point we have to get them prioritized on the CMPO and project list. So that one would be on the list. Talks about the road profile and kind of a general idea of where we're looking is adding on the west side of that to kind of modify that, add the sidewalk, and complete the road profile in those sections, and then eventually add the roundabout at Second North and Third East. And so we'd add the roundabout there and improve that section. That's what this project would be. So it's a.
Just a minute.
Oh, yep, sorry. And if you have questions, just come on up to the mic and I'll be happy to help.
So the mic isn't so much for people in the room, people that are online. So we can't have people speak unless they're at the mic because it's recorded and online. So you
And-
introduce yourself.
I'm Abigail Collitz. I've lived in Providence my entire life. So I just have a question. Just cause it how much of, cause the roundabout would be a part of the property.
I'll come with her. I'm Leanne Collis,
Okay.
her mom. So our question is, our house is
Okay,
is
in the
second
mic.
north, third east.
Right.
Right there on the corner where the roundabout will be.
On the east side or west side?
West side.
West side, okay.
Yeah,
Southwest corner.
How is that gonna affect me? How is it gonna affect my yard? How am I gonna get out of my driveway? What are do you have what you're gonna take of the yards?
At
you
this
know-
point, we're not intending to take any right of way. We're just going to work within the current city right of way.
How big's this roundabout?
It's a smaller roundabout. It's not like First North one. It's not that big.
That's huge.
Yes, that one's huge. This one's a smaller one designed for that. We've already have the property to the north on the northeast corner, and we're utilizing it in order to not have to take any right of way on this project. So we're not looking to acquire any right of way, trying to do all within the city right of way that we already have.
Where will sidewalks go?
Sidewalk will follow the property line.
On the east or west side of the road? Or both?
Both
Sides?
on that section, both. Some of the farther south side where the creek is, we'll only have it on the west side, not the east side. But in this, on the north, from 100 north to 200 north, we intend to have a sidewalk on both sides on the property line.
Okay, I just want to know, how it's going to affect.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
if you're a property owner and are adjacent, they're welcome to come in, make an appointment. I'll go through as deep as you want to go through on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Questions. It's always good to ask questions up front. Okay, so any further feedback on this?
My name's Eric Hadfield. On the corner of 300 East and 100 North, will that continue to be a two-way stop with kind of the sidewalks, or that right now it's a two-way stop and it stops traffic from north to south? With kind of the sidewalk there, I would guess that it's a hope of increased foot traffic. Would that be looked at as a four-way stop, or would it continue to be a two-way?
I'd have to get with our traffic engineer on the answer to that question. I don't know that off the top of my head, but that's a great question. And as we move forward, the general rule is, as a major collector or a larger traffic road hits a lower traffic road, that we stop the lower traffic road. So if we are currently stopping 3rd East, it would likely switch to stopping on First North, the through, because it would be a lower traffic. If they're equivalent, then it would go to a four-way.
Okay.
But to answer the specific question on this intersection, I'd have to defer back to our city engineer. If you'll call me, I'll get that answer. I don't know that right off from this spot in the process.
And then this might have been said, I realize I walked in late. What is the potential timeline or decision process on if this were to move forward, when it would take place?
Excellent question. Time frame would be if we make application and get awarded, because the project won't proceed unless it's funded. And this is this isn't a complete design. We'll once we get the application, then we would go into final completion of the design. It will go from here to actual construction level, and that's when some of those decisions would finalize. And we could take some potential feedback and input on some of that pieces. So if it gets funded, it's a 2-year out for award, and then probably another year for design and construction. We're out 3 years probably from what this would be. If all the stars align, we're probably 3 years out.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
So we're just getting on the list now so that they know we want to do this. But it's got quite a process to go through in order for us to get the money. But unless we get on the wish list, we don't get to ask. So
Leanne and Eric, thank you for being here and knowing what's going to happen with your property. Yeah, we appreciate that.
okay. So let's just continue down the list and we'll go the COG application for street updates on 200 West from 1st North to 5th South. So it includes a roundabout. So that's the one. Did you show that picture?
I haven't showed that one. We haven't done any design work on this project.
Okay. Think if you've been to Europe and seen their little tiny roundabouts, we're going to put one that will handle the traffic but won't be oversized. But we don't have a plan for it right now. We just are trying to get on the wish list to get that fixed. Yes.
My name's Heidi Fargo. I'm just wondering where the roundabout is. Do we know what the intersection for the roundabout?
For this current one, it would be at third South and 2nd West.
Okay, thank you.
So it's that misaligned intersection that's there. So I just went across that today and was a little concerned about my safety. The people behind me and the people that are coming crosswise. Not so intimidating the second time, right?
No, my name is Nancy Adams. I'm just wondering what it all entails from 1st North to 5th South. I mean, we're talking about a roundabout, but
Yes.
what else are you planning along that stretch?
On these type of COG projects, so that's an excellent question, and thank you for asking it. It's an excellent question. On COG projects, they include bringing the road to the full cross section, which means widening the road. It also includes funding for sidewalks, so it would put sidewalk in that, and we could put curb and gutter. So when we do COG projects, we generally do widening, curb and gutter, possibly landscaping the park strip, and putting in the sidewalk. So these projects would generally include all of that. Lots of our projects only include sidewalk, like safe routes to school. They'll only do sidewalk, or some projects with UDOT will only do road. COG will do the entire right-of-way improvement.
And so
That's-
you'll put in for the whole thing and then they could change it too
They could.
and say, we'll let you do this, but we
Yeah,
won't.
they could come back and say, we only let you do it from Second North to, or Second South to Fifth South. Or they could come back and ask us to limit our project, or they could not prioritize it, or yes, they could make those.
Have you looked at the possibility of doing a roundabout at First North and Second West?
We have. This would take us just to First North. The next project, the other two projects that are not included on this road, would be taking it from Fifth South into Millville and doing it to that roundabout to connect. That would be another phase of this project. And another phase would be going to the north at the First North, Second West, and then over to First West and going up. It would be connecting that to River Heights. Both of those projects would include us coordinating with those other municipalities in order to help there. So yes, but to fund two roundabouts in this application would probably kill it. So we have to split it up in phases. But yes, we are considering that. And that's part of our master plan, to consider a roundabout at that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, the only reason I bring that up is because if you come from Second West to North during high school traffic, it's almost impossible to get on First North
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
turn.
And if this,
To me, it's almost like that seems more of a concern than a roundabout at Third South.
understood, the Third South one, the idea at Third South is one, it's a misaligned, and two, it would take the south traffic to the highway before it gets to the high school, before it gets to the two elementary schools. So we'd like to be able to take the traffic rather than continue them up to First North and take the traffic by those two elementary schools. If we could take an easier route to the high school, or not the high school, but easier route to the highway from the south and take them on Third, lots of people avoid the that intersection because it's misaligned and it's a dangerous one at what it is. So they'll go to the First North and go through, which congests the First North. So yes, both are important ones.
And how do you know where traffic is going?
We
Are they
have
using
traffic
the
counters.
First North or are they
We,
doing the
we do
Third
traffic
South?
counters throughout.
Do ya?
Yeah, we have traffic counters. We move them around. If you've ever seen the signs that the speed limit signs that have feedback and tell you what your speed is, we're also counting the number of traffic. So we'll do that. Yeah,
Okay.
and it will be required on any of these projects that we count traffic.
So the First North traffic, I would say they're either turning and going to the high school or they're going straight down, which is probably people going to work.
Hey, it's not a
You
not a
can't-
good project. It's just this is the project we've looked to go for
Can't see Third
first.
South being a place that people would turn to go to work. Does that make sense? I think
They would go to the highway.
the heavy, well, they wouldn't, I don't even think they'd go that way, actually. Because I think the heavy traffic is all the traffic that's going to the high school.
At certain times, it's only.
Well,
it's-
that's true.
It's time specific.
Yeah.
And so this is what's been prioritized.
Yeah, but it also is on First
But we
North
do
too.
have levels of priority, and so we just have to wait for the next cycle to prioritize the next level.
Now, I had heard that they were also thinking of putting another lane. When you say they're widening the road on Second West, is that including another lane? You asking for another lane?
At this point, that hasn't been designed. It is potential that would be part of the road profile. So that is a potential. At this point, I don't believe we would move to a more than a 3-lane configuration, which is one two through lanes and a turn lane. When we talk about 3 lanes, it's a dedicated turn lane that we would be talking about, not a similar to what Third South east to west is.
Okay.
So
So
they-
basically, it's just the roundabout and widening the road that you're asking for.
Yeah, at this point though, we're saying, hey, do we even ask for application money? We've had to submit 3 letters of intent, so these are the only 3 we could ask for. So ultimately, the council will say yes, apply, or no apply. This is whether they say yes or no at the end. At the
So
end
are
of the
you
day.
looking at the same type of time frame as what you talked about
Yes.
on the first one? It could be
Yes.
like 3 years?
Correct.
Okay.
So Nancy, if you have more questions, Ryan is always more than happy to meet.
Give me a call. I'd be happy to go
Well,
through
you know,
these.
it just showed up
Yeah.
on there and we don't know what exactly it all entails. And so that's why we.
That's why you come to these meetings.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you.
Can I just ask the audience to keep side comment down? It's, give the people, if we can give the people who are speaking an opportunity to speak about what they want to talk about. So, okay. Ryan, I'm going to ask you if we can do these all in one, or should I do them separately?
If this is a public hearing, so
So we'll just
at that point, as long as everybody's had a chance to speak on any of
Okay.
these, then I think it's fine to move forward.
Okay. So any more comments? Okay.
Got one more. Leanne Collins again. All right, so on number 2, so I pulled up the map.
You need to speak in the mic.
Zoning. Is that pretty accurate with the borders?
The planning zone,
No. Yeah.
no. We would do it by actual survey, not by parcel viewer. So we're going to actually have survey specifically to know property lines, and that's what we've had. We've had a specific survey to have to understand.
So you have a copy of that?
The engineer has done that. Yes.
Okay. So I
yes.
just contact you and you'll,
Yeah, we can get you.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then we just kind of wondered, will most of it be done on the east or are you doing the west the most of expanding?
The west will be done the whole direction. The east will be complete from first north to second north.
First north, second north.
There's the creek that gets us in
Well, the
our
creek's
way.
on both sides.
I know. We'll do the east side. Yeah,
Like it's on both
yeah,
sides.
I know that. We'll do the west side all the way, and the east side, that creek. We've chosen to limit the scope on that side. We'll take out some to that direction, but we won't pipe the creek on that.
And what's brought this on to do a roundabout?
It's a misaligned.
That's the only
the,
reason.
the master plan identified it. So when we did the transportation master plan, it identified our projects and prioritized a lot of the projects for a 30-year time period. So it was
Because of the building that's going on up above.
some of that is certainly affecting it. But the transportation master plan was approved 3 years ago, and we worked down that list, and it identified the project as a need. It's a undersized in width, direction, and traffic flow. How all of that transportation master plan comes about, a lot of that is more engineering, and I'm not the engineer side. But
Yeah.
I think it's really important for citizens to understand that these master plans are not like our opinions. We hire consultants who are professional engineers and people that study traffic and flow to give us recommendations. And so it's not just like, we think it's a good idea because it's misaligned, but it's based on traffic flow and projections and engineering and
I just know the
and not
master
just
plan,
opinions.
I think was done many, many years ago.
no, this one was only done 2 or 3 years
'Cause
ago.
this was brought
The
up to me
road
probably 25 years
transportation plan was only done a couple of years ago. And
Okay, because Joe Campbell had brought it.
There was done one many years ago.
It was Joe Campbell who first told me.
There's just another one that is
Okay.
has
updated.
been done.
So, and that road going down, continuing into River Heights, I mean, that road is not very narrow and people walk and bike. The sidewalk is right on the road. There's not a, mowing strip. and you're just going to put more traffic is what you're inviting. How is that
It,
gonna
it
be
might
handled?
include a bike lane. It probably would include a bike lane to do that. At this point, what's been maintained,
No room for a bike lane, at
The-
least going from,
right, we would widen
Second to,
widen the asphalt, or are you talking about Third?
yeah.
Okay. We have, I could show you through, it does have bike lane anticipated through, it has a turn lane through it, but it has a bike lane. And a lot of that is some along your section is the more narrow spot that's 66 feet wide. A lot of it is into that 80 feet wide right of way. We would have 2 travel lanes, a turn lane, and bike lanes. That's kind of what the profile design would be working towards.
So it's just really, it's already hard enough to get out of my driveway without people being rude because I want to back out. And this is just gonna, I don't know how we'll manage it, but,
So if you have additional questions, again, Ryan is available to
no, thank you.
help answer those. Okay, so no more comments, questions? We will close the public hearing on our COG applications and move to resolutions and ordinances. So item number 5 is 07-2026 parcel 02-095-0031, the rezone. Providence City will continue the review and discussion and may take action on the ordinance authorizing the rezone of parcel 02-095-0031 located in the general area of 96 North Main, Providence, Utah. Approval of the ordinance will rezone the parcel from R1-12 to mixed use. Planning Commission held a public hearing on May 13th with continued discussion on June 10th and motion that the City Council approve the rezone. Motion failed 2-3. City Council motioned to continue this item last meeting to have a full council present for discussion. So, I will allow, this is not a public hearing, but because there are people who want to say something, I will allow comments. I would just ask that when you make a comment, it's not what someone else has said, so that we're not here until midnight. If you have something you'd like to say, I will allow it. You will have 3 minutes to say that, but if someone else has already said it, I would appreciate it if you did not. Ryan, anything you want to say on this?
Do you want the
Okay.
list, Mayor, the sign-in?
Pardon me?
Do you want that list, or do you? have a-
Yes, but most of the time people forget to sign that,
Okay.
so
Do you-
go ahead and give it to me.
Also, we have listened to the Planning Commission's discussions and
Read all their
comments,
letters.
and we've read all of the emails. So it's helpful if you have new information that you already haven't presented, but we've read everything that has been sent.
Okay. Jody, is there anything new that you would like to present? Okay, I will allow Jody to make a comment. I will tell you that I've also invited former Mayor John Drew to come and talk about our general plan, because there's been so much, our master plan, about when that was passed and what is on it, because there's been so many comments about why don't we follow our master plan. So Jody, go ahead, and then we'll take comments from,
Is the petitioner, do I have the same 3-minute limit?
no. You paid to be here.
Okay, thank you. I've had a chance to talk to you guys at the last meeting, but I used that to really just respond to some of the concerns that people brought up at the last meeting, and haven't really had the opportunity to present important information to you guys directly. I'll try and keep it to stuff that I haven't presented in previous meetings, a quick overview of who I am for the audience and everybody involved. I live in Providence. I love living in Providence. I care about the community. I participate in many of the local events. I've even been recognized for having some of the best Christmas lights in Providence. Part of the reason I do this is because I want to create a sense of community. I have run a student housing management company for 13 years and have had the opportunity to manage commercial spaces similar to what we're proposing. I also run Refined Communities, which has done 3 developments in Providence, and we have always built exactly what we say we're going to build and have built a great relationship with city staff. Currently, we're building a 55 and older community and have actually won awards from the Cache Valley Home Builders Association for Best Curb Appeal, Craftsmanship, and Interior Design. If this project is approved, the mixed-use nature of the buildings allows us to put even more architectural character into the project. I also plan to operate these buildings indefinitely, meaning I do not plan to sell to investors. You guys know that we want to create a boutique downtown Providence with local community enhancing and engaging businesses. Our project takes into consideration the history of the area and honors that history purposefully. I had the opportunity to present to the Historic Preservation Committee and have a letter of them showing support 4-1 with conditions that we plan to meet. So we have support from the Historic Preservation Committee. We have considered our neighbors and will build shorter and further from them than what current zoning, if no zoning went through, what current zoning currently is allowed. We will provide 6 affordable apartments, and we can do all of this while only changing 1 current rental to something different. Again, we're not asking to make changes to other homes. We've talked a lot about the location. Last meeting, somebody brought up the LAEP 2010 report. What I would say is there's only 1 adopted general plan, and this parcel falls into the general plan Providence Downtown Core District, which calls for mixed-use zoning. We are not asking for random spot zoning. This is strategic zoning to move towards the framework for the future envisioned for Providence City by the general plan. That's the same section of the general plan that gives us the 6 key initiatives that are important enough to be posted in these chambers. So a pretty important section of the general plan. Approving this rezone only sets the precedents for rezoning to follow the general plan, which to me seems like the exact precedents you might want to set. Further, the location on the corner of the main artery into Providence and Main Street is important. This project and Main Street, for that matter, needs frontage on that main artery to remind people that Main Street exists, because right now it's been kind of forgotten about. Even the 1 current community engaging business downstairs or downtown, the greenhouse on Center, always advertises on 100 North. We're hoping this development can be the catalyst to restore the other commercial properties on Main Street to something the community can be excited about. When we look at this development, this rezone, it's also important to look at what happens if it's not approved. The results, we can see those results already. At one time, Main Street was the community core where town residents came together to socialize at local businesses. Main Street's no longer that community core that it was in the past, when many of the people living on Main Street actually chose to live there. Our project pushes Main Street closer to what it was historically and what it's called for in the general plan. So if we don't rezone, Main Street will likely continue its current trajectory and could continue to degrade slowly. As the aging population on Main Street relocate for health reasons or pass away, it's more likely that their homes will be converted to rentals. As rentals, it is less likely that they will be well maintained, and Main Street could likely continue its slow decline. Also very importantly, not allowing the rezone goes against the general plan and does not support the key initiatives of Providence. Choosing not to rezone does not encourage creating a sense of place that the entire community can enjoy. Choosing not to rezone means worse green infrastructure with more landscape water waste. It's not helping the city fiscally. It's not encouraging multimodal transportation. It's not supporting long-term economic development, and it's not providing various housing opportunities. If we approve the rezone, we can start revitalizing Main Street. Approving the rezone follows the general plan and supports all of the 6 key initiatives that are up here. When I'm in the community, I see overwhelming positive support for this development. You guys have seen a little bit of that in the many emails that have come through, and those come from a wide variety of the community. We hear repeatedly from people wanting a local place that they can go to meet up with friends or grab a quick lunch or take their kids for dessert without having to go onto the busy streets of the city core or into Logan. That's exactly what we're trying to provide. I'm a community member. I own the property. I have experience working with Providence and managing this type of property. And I'm ready and willing to invest in the future of Providence. And it's not a random future decided by me. It's the future as laid out in the framework for the future section of the general plan. If you care about the integrity of the general plan, I hope the decision is clear. I hope you'll vote for an optimistic city future that follows the general plan and supports the key initiatives, instead of voting for the slow current community decline that has happened and will likely continue on Main Street. I thank you, and I hope you have questions for me, because I feel like I haven't got to have the back and forth with you guys that we have with other councils or commissions.
Okay. Do you have any questions for him? We've listened to a lot,
Yeah.
A lot,
There's been
and-
4, this is the 4th.
and we
Plus
watched
the
the
one where you
meetings.
presented the background. So is that 4 or 5?
It has been emotionally and physically draining for me as well.
Yeah.
You look
I
like
feel
you've
like
lost
my
weight.
questions have, a lot of them have been answered.
Yeah, we've heard it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks,
if you
Jody.
do come up with any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Well, I care heavily about the community and this project and have the experience to make it something great.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you so much.
Mayor Drew. Former Mayor Drew.
Thank you.
Okay,
John
I hope
Drew,
that's not all you're going to say in that packet of
I'm
stuff.
sorry.
Might need a time limit too.
I've got,
Time limit.
since I was mayor, I've lost a lot of my hearing. It's not any of your fault or any of the public's fault. It's just, anyway, I'll do my best. I live less than a block from the property. I walk the dog 6 or 7 days a week, and I walk the downtown area. And I go past Center and Main Street. I go by the property in question. If I don't walk by it, drive by it every day. You know, for years I've looked at it and I've said, I hope the property owner does something with this, because it's always choked with weeds. It's not kept up. It's not watered. It's not mowed. Anyway, when this came up, this rezone, I got on the phone and I called Scarlett. And I asked her for some details, who's the developer and what's the plan, and she sent me some. And so I started digging into this and gathered more information. I talked to Ryan. I talked to Janelle Seeley, came by the house. We walked south and, walked by the property and walked to Center and Main. I sent emails to all of you folks here. Carrie's the only one that responded. I sent one to the mayor as well. And I know a lot of the history of that corner. You know, the city office used to be there. I served as on the council and the planning commission when it was there. I've dug into the property records on what we call the Watkins Building, which is actually 3 parcels and 3 separate owners. But just let me go through some of the stuff. At Center and Main, I mean, we've got the southwest and northwest corners, just abandoned vehicles, no license plates, registrations expired, weeds that go to the ceiling. Can you plug that in? Oh, here we go. Go to the next page. So I said there, you know, we have to have a plan for the downtown area. And it's not Center and Main. It's not just one intersection. But so it's our home. It's where we live. 3 of the parcels on that corner are delinquent on their taxes. 2 of the parcels in the old Watkins Building, and the tire building kitty corner from there, which is office space. And the neighbors tell me that the owner can't even get all the office space rented out. So as I see it, I see more junk accumulate, and I've heard a lot of complaints from the neighbors. So I went back to the general plan. I said, do we have a plan for the downtown? And, you know, the general plan that's current right now was approved in April of 2020. We started on it in 2017. So we went through every element of the general plan and put a lot of effort into it. We had an outside consultant who gathered comments and input from the council, from the city staff, and from the neighbors and residents. And it was approved in April of 2020. 3 of the current council members were
John,
approved, yes.
talking the mic. It's
I can hear myself. I just can't.
I know, but the people online can't hear.
Okay. Yeah, keep me in line. So it was approved. The previous general plan was 20 years prior to that, in the year 2000. So there was a lot of growth that has happened in the city. A lot has changed. But there's a couple portions here that I wanted to address. One talks about, go back to the other page, Providence Downtown Core. This is, if a developer comes to the city, if any of the council members or the mayor decides they want to develop a parcel, you know, and that they want to get the city to approve it, their best chances are to do what? Follow the general plan. And as it progresses on, follow city code. So what does the general plan say? It says mixed uses can be of horizontal or vertical format. So the general plan is telling someone coming to the city, here's what we have considered, and here's our preference for how parts of the city developed. And it says, go back.
He's trying to hurry you along.
Uses can be in horizontal or vertical format. Residential or office above retail. Residential above office. Now you can go to the next one. Okay, the same page, very next one. It says small collection of retail and service uses focused on a corner or single block, serving the immediate surrounding neighborhood. This is not Macy's, these are small retail developments. Mixed uses in a horizontal format. Okay, so I mean, that's our starting point. I mean, when a developer comes to the city, the first thing the council should do is say, does it follow the general plan? And in my opinion, I mean, he checks all the boxes. I mean, this says that this is what he had to have followed. One of the things the Historic Preservation Commission took quite a bit of time, and they had 2 meetings. It was a discussion item only. They didn't make a recommendation, but it seemed to have been well received. On Center and Main, by the way, had lunch with Ralph Call, who owns the Old Rock Church. It seems to be the only bright light on that intersection. The other corners, for different reasons, have deteriorated. One of the things about, you can go to the county website, and the county has, they call it GIS map. You can look up all the parcels. When you find a parcel of property and it's shaded red, that means the property owner is delinquent on their taxes. So we've got three properties in the downtown Center and Main intersection area that are, I mean, that tells me deterioration and abandonment. I understand that one of the three parcel owners on the Watkins building property wants $550,000 for a part of that building. I mean, that's nonsense. Doesn't make any sense. I strongly recommend that the council consider this and vote in favor of it. I believe it's going to encourage developments and improvements to other properties in the downtown core. I believe it'll improve property values. And I have a question. The last council meeting, council member Spass said, let's put this off till we have all the council members here. I noticed council member Seeley is not here. Are you going to vote tonight or put this off to the next council meeting? Or
Well, we'll have to do that when we
discuss it?
break for us to discuss. So,
But I appreciate the
Thank you.
opportunity to speak. And I kind of, when I get my head into something, I dig deep into it. I don't just gloss over it. So I appreciate what you guys do. Thanks so
well,
much.
since you were here when that was passed, there was lots of. I was on the planning commission when this passed, and we got lots of feedback. You even went to Macy's one day and sat down there and talked to people about the general plan.
And you brought up Macy's. When people came in, I asked them if they were residents of Providence. And I have to say that probably less than 20% were Providence residents. So the light bulb went off. And what that told me is we have a lot of people from outside Providence who shop at Macy's who are contributing substantial sales tax dollars
to us,
to Providence
Yes.
City.
We like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very positive. Thank you. Okay, I will allow public comment. I've got two people, Natalie DeFries signed up to make comment, and Heidi Fargo. Sure.
All right, my name is Natalie DeFries, and I would like to just start by saying thank you. David Coons, thank you for what you do. Carrie Kirk, thank you for what you do. Kathleen Alder, thank you for what you do. Brent Speth, thank you for everything you do. And Scott Campbell, thank you for everything you do. I know that this is not easy. This is a very hard situation to be in, and I do not envy you whatsoever. I would like to just share just some last thoughts as we've been able to hear from Jody's point of view. I would like to just share some of my thoughts. Yeah, I guess, and I understand now I wrote these down beforehand, but just, I have nothing against the plan. I think that it's a wonderful plan, and I think that that makes a lot of sense. The only issue that I have with it is just the location. I just don't think that that's a smart location. I'm a businesswoman myself, and I want to see that succeed. I would love to have something like that here, but as it was mentioned, I don't think that Providence has a main street, and we are okay with that. If we were to go through with this, we would be bulldozing through well-established residential neighborhood Providence, and the current commercial buildings that are currently there, they are struggling. And so to put something else there, I just worry that it would struggle as well. Now, I'm totally fine with it. I just think that coming closer here, we have so much hype, so much busyness, so much walking going over here down 100 North. I think 100 North would be an absolutely wonderful adopted Main Street, if you were. And I guess the question was asked, like, Main Street is going to die. And why does Main Street need to exist? I realize that it happens in every single town, but thinking about the logistics of it, I don't understand why it has to exist. Yes, history is there, but I don't think that that's necessary. Maybe I'm wrong. These are just my thoughts. But it is dying, and I would like to see this business succeed. I just don't think that's the place to go. I do think that when it comes to change, you're wanting to do something that is going to bring the biggest positive outcome from it. And there was, in the previous meetings that I've been to, there was a very large amount of people who did not like this change, and they were very much so against it. I understand now that you have seen 50-50. I was not aware of that, but from my perspective, it looks like the majority of people are very against this change. I think that a better option or solution is that there was a gentleman who stood up and he said, I would be more than happy to buy this property and revitalize it. And I think that that would be the most ideal option here, is to have someone come and revitalize the home, revitalize Main Street, but without having to make major changes that would disrupt what Main Street currently is. So that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, Heidi Fargo.
Hi, like Natalie said, thanks to all of you for your service and for taking the time to consider everything people have said. As I think about all of this, and if I put myself in your shoes, it is a difficult decision, and I'm sure that's hard to weigh things out. But if I put myself in your shoes, the first thing as I'm making this decision and I say, okay, Jody owns the property, it's his, he could tear the tithing building down tomorrow, that would be on his conscience. But when you vote, if you vote yes, then that's also on your conscience. You're voting to tear down a big part of Providence history. And what makes Providence unique, it's part of a National Historic District. I understand legally that doesn't give any protections, but in my mind, yes, you have a general plan. You also have a designation as National Historic District. I think that should be weighed in your minds, so it's not on your conscience when you tear something down that's historical and means a lot to those of us in the city and part of our character. But if I say, okay, let's imagine that weren't there, because in good conscience, I could never vote yes to tear something like that down. But if that weren't there, could I get excited about a potential bakery and florist and cafe? Absolutely, if it didn't affect my neighbors. If the residents there had one car each and parking wasn't a problem, and it's just like he said, and everybody's walking there and they're not driving there, then I could get excited about that. But if parking's a huge issue, I can't get excited about it. But let's say that's the case. And we're going to try to pursue Jody's vision. But can Jody guarantee that his boutique vision is going to come to pass? If we come back in 5 to 10 years, maybe it starts out that way. Can we guarantee in 5 to 10 years that we have thriving bakery and florist and cafe? Those are tough businesses to keep going. That's a tough role when you have Macy's 2 minutes down the street and you can pick up flowers, when you can go to Sam's Club and get them for way cheap, when people are already driving. We can't go back in time. Yes, I love going to Europe. I love the small areas. I love going to 9th and 9th. Macy's 9th and 9th doesn't have a Macy's a 2-minute walk away. We are some who love to walk. We walked, when we lived on the hill, we would walk down to the library. We'd walk to Macy's. People who walk are walking down to Macy's. You guys are doing a great job extending the paths in Zoology Park and all of that. That makes a huge difference. But people who are coming from out of town are probably not, if they are driving into Providence, they're probably going to Macy's. They're probably not going to take the extra time to come in. And so if instead of that vision, what if the vision is we get another real estate company in one of those buildings, and maybe we get another tech company, and maybe one's vacant? Is it still worth it? Is it still worth pursuing this development when maybe that's the future of this development? The last thing, the former mayor, Natalie kind of said this, the former mayor commented that there is a challenge to keep the existing commercial space rented. Why would this be different? And the last thing Jody said, that Main Street is not the community core it once was. I agree. Main Street has moved west and the city has moved west. And I think we should, instead of forcing something to exist, yes, it's called Main Street, but it's not the Main Street that we're trying to pretend that it is. Main Street has moved west. Let's honor what is natural. Let's be smart. Let's be business minded and say, instead of forcing things to fit, let's honor what's there. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. You're not on the list, but I'll let you. Oh.
But I have to talk.
That's a school teacher in you.
Just me. Okay. First of all,
Name?
Jeanette Christensen, thank you. And thank you for all you do. I appreciate your service that you guys do. I know this is tough. But general plans are not code. They are plans. My children call them ideas. When we make plans, we make ideas because it's easier to change ideas than it is to change plans. But I want to know, what is the code that Providence has for mixed use? I know that mixed use can include the things we talked about, a business on the bottom, residence on the top. It can include office space, all kinds of things. But what is the actual code that Providence has in place for mixed use?
Okay, we'll let Scarlett answer that.
Well, that.
It's 10-4-5.
Have you got a mic? Do you have a mic?
You can just
Hello?
text it to me because I just wondered if there's official code for
Yes.
mixed use.
Yes. Yes, there
Okay.
is.
All right. Then the other thing, I know that Mayor Drew worked on the 2020 plan and that, but there was not a lot of consultation to those of us who live on Main Street regarding that general plan and revitalizing this as a commercial area. I feel very much like the young lady did before. Providence has moved west. The city office buildings moved west. If I recall, I think that was under Mayor Drew's plan that they moved west. The post office has moved
No,
west.
it was not.
It was not.
That was Don Calderwood.
Oh, Don. Okay, excuse me. And I stand corrected. That's okay. But everything's moved west. And so I envision, as we've talked about, Main Street is Main Street in name only, not in a historical place of where we had lots of interactions years ago, because all of our interaction is now taking place on the west side of town. And frankly, as a Main Street resident, I'd rather stay there. Thank you.
Thank you. I will allow anyone else. Mayor Drew?
When Don Calderwood was mayor of city council, and we were considering moving out of the location on Main Street, I was against it. He was, Ralph Call was against it. There's a long story to that.
Yes.
As
there is.
part of that process, the mayor asked me to survey every city and town, city offices, main streets, historic centers in Cache Valley. I put a binder together with pictures and data for every single city in Cache Valley. So the mayor and council members got a copy of it, the city staff, just for reference to help us make a sound decision. In retrospect, when I look back what we did, and Ralph Call and I were on the radio because we opposed moving to this location, and that's a other long story. Abandoning the historic part of the city. In Cache County, Providence City is the only city that abandoned its historic district. All the other cities here in Cache Valley have built new city halls down in Hiram. They built one across the street from the old city hall. They moved the fire station there. They improved historic parts of the city. They didn't abandon them. Providence is the only city that did. If you have, I mean, we're not from Pioneer Stock. This month we moved here 20 years ago. But if we want to honor the pioneers who came here to Providence to settle here, that we honor on the corner of Center and Main, there's a monument there, and it's got pioneer and family names there. We've got, where are we here? We've got the Veterans Memorial over there. And there's all these other homes, and I mean, there's old blacksmith shops, you know, in the historic part. Oh, The historic part, we've abandoned it. Main Street's moved, to Macy's. What we recognized when we went through and developed the general plan is we need to have places where people can walk to. We're a mile and a half away, and most people in Providence are farther than a mile and a half away from Macy's. What we're talking about is where people can walk and shop and pick up an ice cream, take the kids to, ride the bike there. It's a destination to walk to. The destinations don't have to all be city parks and nothing commercial. So the intent was to bring some of the commercial and retail activity into these neighborhoods where it's convenient for the neighbors.
Thank you. Yeah. No, you have to come up. Nobody can hear on the.
We're gonna do a swaparoo. Natalie DeFries. Just question for I don't know what you call a retired mayor, but why was the reason that Providence decided to leave Main Street?
We didn't decide. I'll tell you. I'll tell you the story. We had three council members against moving from that location on Main Street. We had two that wanted to move to this building and the mayor. And we went round and round for a long time. And I'll tell you, we had complaints because the building there, the heating and air conditioning system didn't work. It's an old building. We need to abandon it and move on. This building has 5 heating and air conditioning systems. And the first year we were here, Scarlett had to bring portable air conditioning units because it got so hot upstairs. We need more council space, so more the neighbors would sit, more chairs. Guess what? We have less space. We have fewer chairs, in this. So here's what happened. One of the council members, his name was John Russell, who was against the move. He announced that he was taking a family vacation for 2 weeks. In his absence, Mayor Calderwood scheduled a special meeting just to vote on moving. And so he knew he had 2 council members against and 2 in favor, and the one against moving was out of town. John Russell called the mayor and said, please, would you wait to schedule this till I get back? And he refused to do that. So we held a council meeting and we had 2 council members in favor, 2 against. And what happens when there's a tie? The mayor breaks the tie. So it was 3-2 in favor of moving to this building. We spent $1.1 million. I think Scarlett knows the number off the top of her head, close to that, and about $350,000 for upgrades on this building. And the previous mayor, Mayor Calderwood, had gotten a bid for $350,000 to add about 5,000 square feet to that old building and remain where we were. And we could have bought the Watkins property at the time. There was one owner for $250,000.
$650,000.
And we could have added onto that corner. And so the city offices could have been there. And we would have spent far less than what we spent to move here.
Scarlett corrected. It was $650 for the Watkins building.
But that's not really part of this discussion.
Yeah.
This is
So-
not, we're off the rails.
Really not.
So
So that's when I was up here speaking, I said, there's a long story behind that. I didn't
yeah,
want to
it is the
go
long
there,
story.
but
Well, the question was asked. I think it's answered, and I think I don't know that there's any more comments. Thanks. Okay. Does it have to do with the building, with the zone change? The zone change. Yes. Okay, I'll allow.
My name's Cindy Dunkley, and I'm not so much against the shops on the road, but I am kind of against the apartments above, because I believe with all the condos that are around, you're allowed 1.5 spaces to park. Is that?
Let me just tell you that we're not that deep into the design, and
Oh, I'm
he will be held to a standard that allows enough parking for the people who will be there.
Well, from what I see in the town, everywhere there's a condo or apartment, cars are parked along the roads all over.
But
So so that's what concerns me. I'm just saying
Right.
what concerns me about this is the parking, and the parking probably in front of a lot of people's houses of residents that live there. So that's just a comment that I have,
Right.
and I was concerned about that. Thank you.
it's a valid concern, but we can only require a certain number of parking spaces as per state code. So
I think it's 1.5 cars. I don't know how you park a half car.
some of them probably are half cars.
The other half's in the street.
Yeah, the other half's in the street. Okay, we have one more comment and then okay.
Craig wanted to comment too.
Hi, my name is Tamos Taylor. I want to respond to a couple of things I've heard. Jody mentioned the ENVS, or I'm sorry, LAEP planning. I have actually mentored some of the students in that program, and I've served on some of their review panels. And one of the things that we actually hope that people will do, and it's actually part of a lot of mandated government planning, is to review alternative futures and to look at what is a no action alternative and then what are the alternatives before us. And Jody talks about how Main Street is going to fall apart, people are going to die, they're going to move out. And I think that it's really a responsible thing to consider what would a future look like and actually do some research, because that's all really speculative. We don't know what's going to happen until we actually study that. The other thing I want to mention is I know you've heard a lot from Joe Bates about density. And one of the things the former mayor brought up on the slides talked about how this mixed use plan is supposed to serve the immediate area within a 5 to 10 minute walk. People walk 2 to 3 miles an hour. And I've actually clocked it. It's about a block and a half for a 5-minute walk. And on that block that this proposed rezone is, there are only 4 other residences. This is supposed to serve people in the immediate community. And with the school, the ball field, the park, the church, the other commercial buildings on Main Street that are empty or non-functional, there are people living there. So to think about serving the residents of a local area, there aren't people there to serve in that walkable sense. So
I'm not sure I heard your name.
Temis Taylor.
Tamis?
Temis.
Temis.
That's all. Thank you.
Temis, would you count the people at the ballpark, at the church, at the school as immediate neighbors? Because that's a lot of people.
They could be, they'd be seasonal, and they may come and they may walk there, but they're also not that 5-minute walk residence area that contributes to what we call a walkable community.
Okay, because it seems to me that they are part of that square block, which is hundreds of people, and the school children too. I mean, their
And the parents could patronize it, yeah. But if we're talking about walkability, a lot of those people are driving here, so we wouldn't consider that walkable.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Was there one more comment? So this is it. You get the last word.
Wow, that's cool. Thank you.
Name?
Craig Frank. I just wanted to comment on we've talked about traffic flow, that this is the main traffic flow in the province. I mean, Ryan's commented on that. It's one of 3. But yeah, now we're going to congest it on Main Street and 100 North with more parking, you go to the cafe here on First West in Logan. I drive First West every day, and I normally have to stop because someone's jaywalking across the street to go over and sit in the picnic area and have a sandwich or whatever they're doing there at the coffee shop on First West. Is that what we need on our main thoroughfare in Providence? Do they do that in Logan on the main thoroughfare? Have just jaywalkers to go over to Starbucks or wherever? Generally not. And is that what we want up here? Probably not. And Jody's also commented on how residents die and they start renting places and they start going downhill. I can say that the 96 North Main is gone downhill. It hasn't had water in months, mowed once a month. New property owner, and it's already going downhill. So we probably ought to look at that too, as far as performance that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is the time now that the council can ask questions. We don't have Janelle. That was the reason we didn't vote last. Do we feel like we have enough information to make a motion and vote, or what would the council like to do?
I don't want to keep kicking the can down the road.
We've done that enough.
But then I also go, well, last time I voted to wait for a full council, and for consistency's sake, then I kind of go back to my well, we still don't have that. So I'm a little bit torn on, I wish she was here, but we probably ought to move forward.
Okay. All right. Comments? Motion? What?
Well,
I wouldn't mind making some comments. just
Go ahead
about
and comment. Let's hear
mean,
you.
I since I didn't speak out last time, and it's interesting that we get a lot of comments by email in favor, but I think people were maybe afraid to come here and comment in favor because they're afraid of pitchforks or neighbors being mad at them. Well, I'm not saying you have pitchforks. I'm saying in general, when there's a rezone, people come with high emotions, which is why you're shaking your heads and getting red. So you come with high emotions, and it's hard for neighbors to face each other in that situation. And so we get the emails in favor, and then we usually get the protest vocally at city council meeting, but we are getting both. And I think Jody has gone above and beyond in even putting forth plans that's not required. And as a council, we're supposed to not really even consider the plans, only the possibility of what could be done. In theory, Jody is integritous, and we have, as a city, there's been a relationship with him. I personally have never met Jody before, but so there's trust. But in general, a developer comes and we consider what could be done because they could rezone and resell. So the fact that he's put forth a plan is just a good faith of I care about this community. I'm going to inform them. I'm going to go the extra mile. I'm going to put up some of my ideas. And he must think that it's great, or he wouldn't have done that. He would have, tried to lay low, not let people know what he was doing, come to city council. We would have been required to advertise it, but and I like what he's put forth. I was on the planning commission in 2010 when they worked through a general plan for the downtown area. And although citizens feel like they haven't been invited to be involved with the general plan, with the downtown plan, their invitations are made extensively. But if you're not following what's happening in the council, then you vote people in that you trust and you just go, well, I'm hoping for the best. But if you're doing more than that, then the invitations are constant to give feedback, especially when a general plan is being worked on. So I was part of that with the idea of having, every email, not every, many of the emails and the comments that I hear are contradictory. Is it our main corridor? If it is, then there's enough traffic for a business. Or is it you want to preserve the history of the tithing building, but you don't want to preserve the history of the downtown? Everything, there's just so many contradictions in the emails. Keep the historical significance of the tithing building, but get rid of the historical significance of a downtown Providence. There's not enough traffic for business. There's too much traffic to not have business, or to add to the traffic. and so for me, I have three things, and many of you have responded to your emails and saying, here's my formula. The Planning Commission recommendation. They failed to make a recommendation. I don't believe in my time on the Planning Commission or on the City Council, there's been a fail to make a recommendation. So they're a hung jury, right? I mean, they didn't even, if this isn't the proper use, they made a motion, they did not make a recommendation. They made a motion, it failed to pass, they did not make a recommendation. So we got nothing from them, essentially, because the motion failed to pass. So in my time, I haven't seen that. I would have loved for them to say, well, if this isn't appropriate use, what is? What is appropriate use? And how can we do this? The alignment with the general plan, clearly what Jody has proposed is in alignment with the general plan. And people don't seem to care about the general plan until it affects their neighborhood. But when we're working on it for 3 years, we have workshops and 2 people show up. It's unfortunate. Then they're like, well, we were never invited. Well, you're invited like 50 times to come to workshops on the general plan, and now it matters. But so the general plan for downtown, it's really hard for me to betray what was planned, because we have to move forward with big picture vision, because there's so much emotion that's involved with any change. Change brings emotion, and everyone wants it somewhere else. No one wants population growth, but we all have 5 children, 25 grandchildren, and 300 great-grandchildren. But we don't want more traffic, and we don't want population growth. So we have to move forward with big picture, and we were all elected to this council to do hard things when people in the room would be not happy with our decisions. My biggest hang up has been what would be perceived as a spot zone. And I've looked at that very, very carefully. The mixed use is meant to bridge commercial and residential, and the general plan shows more mixed use, which would revitalize downtown, in my opinion, which would help the non-successful businesses that are there to switch over to something, to turn over to something that could be more successful. I honestly think that this commercial would probably be I think the tenants that will come in, more than boutiques, would probably be more like service providers and would be tech companies. But then that's not adding to your traffic when it's, 3 guys sitting behind a desk. So there's so many contradictory comments that my job is to do what's hard, and that will make 50% happy and 50% unhappy, but most of the people in this room unhappy, and in most cases vote with the general plan, unless there's something that is brought up that is completely unknown or has changed from the time that the general plan was created. That's my thought process. I've spent significant time considering it, listening to the emails, talking to the residents. We care about you. It's not us against you. It's not me against you. I'm one of you. I ran for council because I care. And that was a really long speech to share some of my thoughts.
Thank you. Other comments, thoughts?
I have comments.
Okay.
If you're ready for me.
We're always ready for you.
Okay. I'd like to start out with a little perspective of the general plan. It says that a key initiative is the sense of place. Preserve the sense of place by identifying characteristics that define Providence as a unique place. Give guide to future development to support the citywide network of activity centers, public spaces, designation including commercial areas, neighborhood parks, historic areas, and civil places, civic places, all linked by streets, sidewalks, pathways, trails, and mass transit. You know, I've served two times on the city council now. This is my second time. But I served a number of years ago when there was open space. There was agricultural land, and Macy's wasn't there. I remember Seth Alder farming that corners down there. There was not what you see now. But at that time, we felt like that the development for Providence was more beneficial on the west side, on the highway, because that's where people stop and shop. That's where businesses can do well. They can succeed because they have the traffic to succeed. And so what it was proposed at that time is, yes, the Alder property came up for sale and several other properties followed suit. But there was still agricultural property between there and what you would call Second West. And a lot of people wanted a large acreage. As they have moved and done other things and not wanted them anymore, it's given way. And the plan is to have residential, higher density residential, adjacent the commercial area, and transition more to the single family dwellings that were located more to say east of Second West. That was the long-term planning of Providence. That long-term planning has given way to lots of residents to have very nice single-family dwellings above Second West. And in so doing that, it was a workable plan. But now there are other developments going on between Second West. But if you drive out of Providence, you see a ballpark, a skate park, you see open areas for soccer and a splash pad and other things. That defines Providence. Providence has a definition of commercial to the west, and the other property on the west side, which will eventually come, more commercial, highway frontage, the necessary traffic to succeed will be there. So if you take a look at that plan, what is your Providence sense of place? To me, it's okay to leave the commercial in my rearview mirror when I come home. I don't need commercial next door to me. And when you talk about commercial, and Mayor Drew brought this point home, we have office space that isn't being rented. Why? Why? Right. You think that is going to be corrected by creating 6 other spaces? No, I don't believe so. I think the vision is not there. I like Joe. I mean, I don't know Jody, but people speak highly of Jody and speak highly of what he does. And I'm sure he'll work hard to fill those spaces. But as was in the old tire building, at one time they were full. Where have they gone to? It's not because we don't have space. It's because they're not filling them. Even some of the old Watkins building has been remodeled with a new facade to give space. Now, there are some people in there that are using those, usually to tech type spaces, and that's okay. But do we need to create more tech type spaces and disrupt neighbors because that's what we want to do by having this type of mixed use? Is that what we really want to do in our community? Or are we okay leaving the commercial and coming home to residential, our quiet neighborhoods where we can walk and we can bike and we can do what we want to do without having more hustle, more bustle, compete with commercial? And when we talk about number of supporting people, most school children are bused. And they will be bused.
That's not true.
Oh, you check the buses that are dropped off. Yeah, check the buses. But I'm not taking it number by number. The kids, do you want the kids to break out of school and go buy things at a trinket store on the corner?
No.
No. I remember going to Wellsville Junior High, and we used to walk to the Golden Rule store, and it was a block away. And they got very much upset sometimes about us being gone. They didn't want us doing that, and that was junior high, not elementary. We have to, I don't know that you can count those as patrons of these 6 little stores that are going to be built.
That depends on what it is.
I'm sorry, I'm talking. When Tire Store was here, the kids came in and bought candy, ice cream, and things like that, and Tire Store failed. They quit. Why? Because you can't live on candy purchases, ice cream purchases, and things like that. They needed the patronage, but the other folks came and left and went to the stores where they could buy not only groceries, but other things that they wanted while making a single trip. And Tire Store left. And so we love our cars. And I don't know how many people up on the Baldy subdivision are going to walk to these 6 little stores, nor out in Cary's neighborhood and walk to these little stores. The gathering place today is the ballparks. And that's where people come together to visit with each other, and a gathering place at a social. But for most people, they walk with a partner or two, and they say hi to their neighbor, how you doing? But we're not going to sit at a little table in February and carry on a discussion, nor in 105-degree weather and carry on a discussion. The concept has merit, like in Salt Lake, which was quoted by Mayor Drew, or perhaps Provo, like Mayor Drew suggested, where you've got a lot of people. Now, years ago, we went to California, to Dana Point, and we enjoyed a vacation at Dana Point, and there were a lot of shops. But amazingly enough, those shops rotated like crazy because the seasonal effect, even in California, because when it got cold, people didn't come. And they rotated and rotated until you shake your head, Mayor Drew. I've been there 5 years watching it. Well, I know it. Did you know Nevaeh? Did you know Nevaeh, who run a shop there in Dana Point? See, there we go. Anyway, my point is, shops come and shops go. And Mayor Drew said half of them are not, he gave a statistic about paying taxes. Why are they not paying taxes? A commercial business has to have income. And if you don't have the income, you don't have the money to pay your taxes. And if you don't have the income, that means people are not patronizing your business. And so therefore they are not coming. And Callaway's failed. A hamburger shop next door to it failed. Tire Store went out because candy and gum and pop did not do the job for them towards the end, because people shopped elsewhere. So in our consideration, and I know that I was on that commission that Mayor Drew spoke about, I am concerned about preserving Providence. Now, I cannot change the way people park cars or unlicensed them and leave them there. I know Ted personally, and that's the way he operates. But I do know him well. Enough said. Anyway, I cannot change Ted, Mayor has tried to change that, and as to no avail. It hasn't happened. So consequently, folks, I feel myself we're trying to resurrect a dead horse and see make it work. And I think we're going to struggle at that. And I would like to see Jody succeed if he's going to put the money out. But the concept, where he's at, doesn't warrant, in my opinion, after living here over 50 years, success for you, Jody. I'm sorry. We've seen it come and we've seen it go for 50 years. I have. My wife's been here a little longer, another year or two, or maybe a little longer. But anyway, we've seen it come and go. The business portion of Providence has moved west of Second West. And mixed use on the map is west of Gateway Drive. It's not up in town. Now, is there a circle that says we possibly could have had mixed use? Yes, there is. That was in the plan. Or not the plan, the general plan. Could be, but you have to use good judgment and recognize it's in the commercial area is where your business needs to be. Residential, it is residential. That's wise. Commercial is not wise. And I'm just going to make one other small comment. I heard somewhere that there was a comment made about garages for the residents upstairs, possibly to meet the parking area. Is a private garage commercial or is it residential? 50% is all you're allowed to be residential in a mixed use. You put a garage downstairs and you've violated the mixed use definition. Something to think about. That's my comments. I'm sorry. I listened to the Planning Commission. I make one other comment. Joe Chambers spoke up after that because there were 4 against it, but one switched right as he made the motion. And Joe Chambers wanted it noted that the recommendation was to not approve, but it didn't go back that way. But you listen to it, and that's what Joe Chambers suggested. He was quite frustrated that didn't go that way. Now, each person has the right to change their mind. And one of the Planning Commission members did right at the 11th hour. And he changed his mind, but it still failed. So, Jody, a lot of the comments that have been made are about your integrity, about the good person that you are. I don't question that at all. I don't question your building ability. I don't question that you're a good neighbor. I don't question that you're a Providence resident. I don't question anything about you personally. But a rezone is about land. And once that land is rezoned, it doesn't come back. And that's where I have the heartburn. It's not about you. It's about the land. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Hey, Brent, would you mind clarifying or restating about, you mentioned the garages would violate the mixed use. Is that what you said?
If.
Not true.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Okay. Is a garage commercial or residential?
Part of the just part of the requirement. I mean, Scarlett should.
Now,
know.
wait a minute. Okay, if you put a garage under a residential building, is it commercial? Where the commercial area is? Okay, up here on the upper story, you have residential. If you put a garage, you can't put a garage on a second story. If you're going to put a garage, it's going to have to be on the main level. You are required, it is a requirement of mixed use that no one use can exceed 50% of the footprint of the building. If you put a garage down there, what does that do?
But it doesn't have to be one single building. Like, it just has to be 50% of the property, right, Scarlett?
50% of the development.
Of the development. So
Now, explain that to me.
And is garage square footage even counted in?
So can you put separate garages around
You
it?
should probably get a mic, Scarlett.
Well, then let's not.
This is part of the design phase. Jody.
I
if-
understand
if he
that,
goes
but it
forward
was
with
mentioned.
He will have, yes, he did plan to have some garages, in
Clarify that for us, would you please, in mixed use?
that no one use can be more than 50% of, I should have pulled the code up. I think it's the total gross square footage
Of?
Of the project.
buildings in the project. So if he's got two buildings, and one is heavier on commercial and lighter on residential, and one is heavier on residential and lighter on commercial, as long as the project comes out at least 50-50, or no, not 50-50, as long as no one uses more than 50-50, and we actually kind of give commercial the benefit of the doubt, because we come out, we look at office space differently than retail. So that if somebody wants to do retail, that's a percentage. If they want to do office space, that's a percentage. But still, no one use can be more than 50%. That's why we changed it that way, is because people felt like they either had to do retail or they had to do office. They couldn't, the developers seemed like they couldn't get it to work for them. So that's why and we changed that code several years ago. That's why we said no one uses more than 50%. So residential does have to be in there, but it can't be more than 50%. But it doesn't have to be 50%. It just can't be more than 50%.
So I understand that you will do that during the design phase.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was out of character, probably even bringing that up. I just had a concern about that.
No, I totally understand why you bring it up. It's just that we get really nervous on the staff side of things when we start talking about design elements. And it's great that Jody was so transparent and everything. But we get nervous because we as staff haven't looked at those design elements, compared them to city code, because it's not near that time. We don't want to do that. We learned our lesson many years ago that if we do too much approval prior to the rezone, we actually almost vest them in the rezone and then we get in trouble. So we don't do that on purpose for a very good reason. And we get nervous when that starts getting talked about, because I don't know. I don't know what his actual percentages are right now. All I can tell you is when the design time comes, the planning commission will be involved in it as well, because planning commission is part of the design phase of mixed use. They will have to meet the code. That's all I can tell you. It will probably look similar, but I can't say it's going to be guaranteed. Do you want to comment on that, Ryan?
No, I think that was well said. We don't get into the details of that. We deal with the evaluating, putting your analysis together is related to the plan. We don't get into the detail of the parking. You'll have to follow the ordinance. We don't get into the detail of the percentages because you'll have to follow the ordinance. So I think what you've said is accurate. So.
But anyway, that's why we get a little nervous when you start talking about actual plans.
I think part of the problem with this whole project is the presentation of what is going to be there as mixed use. Because I think some have been led to believe that, but it is not finalized.
The plan is not finalized.
It's not finalized. And so I withdraw that comment because of the way I had heard and perceived that the residential would be above the commercial and that there would be garages and possibly a garage. And it was in light of talking about parking spaces. And so that kind of threw up a red flag in my mind as to the percentages versus meeting the parking requirement.
Well, we're not there yet.
Huh?
We're not there yet, so.
Well, I know, but it was thrown up as a comment regarding that, And I did not have clarification on that.
Okay.
And so I will be watching that very close.
And just for the record, I'm thinking it says total gross square footage, but we will follow the ordinance. So if it's not total gross square footage, if it's based a little bit differently, we will follow what the ordinance says.
Do we have any other mixed use approved in here?
The development east of Macy's where you've got Next Meters, that is part of the townhomes. And Danny's office building, that's all part of that. No, Danny's office building isn't. It's part of that development, but it's not part of the mixed use. That's all mixed use.
Okay.
Another one that's been approved, but they've never built on it. We'll see what happens. This one over here, they actually came in, we changed mixed use 4 years ago, Mayor, I think. Danny actually came in and asked to change to the new mixed use pattern because he realized that commercial actually was needed or desired by the purchasers. They wanted commercial as much as they wanted residential. So they actually changed to our no one use can be more than 50% and gave up, I can't remember how many housing units, but they gave up housing units in order to do the way they've got Next Meters and those townhomes now.
So would you consider that mixed use then?
That's mixed use, yes.
It's
not
in a mixed
vertical.
use zone.
It's horizontal.
It's horizontal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he did, right on the plat, it tells the commercial people what size buildings they have to have in order to keep his percentages working.
Okay. Well, I will negate my comment about the parking garages, Dave, because apparently I spoke.
Thanks for clarifying. I didn't mean to
Okay.
derail the.
No, that's fine.
It's okay. We should ask the
on a
questions
tangent,
now.
but just helps understanding. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? I will entertain a motion.
Are you okay to vote without a full council?
It's allowed. I mean, it's not against the rules
No,
for us
are
to do
you
that.
okay with it?
We
You're
just-
the mayor.
I'm
I don't
fine
need
with
to
it.
tell you that, do I?
Oh, I forgot. Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I will make a motion, and it's not that I don't care about developers, because I do. I like to see good, strong development. But I feel that to put mixed use at 96 North Main is not a good use at this time, and I would propose that we follow the vote of the Planning Commission and deny it.
Well, they didn't give us a vote. So you
Well, it
need
was
to
3
make
to
them.
2. Okay,
You need
whatever.
to make that, it didn't pass. So you need to state what your motion is.
My motion is that we deny it.
Okay. So I need a second to that motion.
I second it.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. The motion carries. So, we'll go on to the next item. Item number 6. City Council will review, discuss, and may take action on an ordinance regarding proposed code amendments to increase. Thank you. To increase the maximum building height allowed for a specific use of indoor commercial recreation or fitness center from the current standard of 50-foot limit to a maximum 65 within both the Commercial Highway District and the Commercial General District. Planning Commission held a public hearing on July 8th and motioned to the City Council to approve the amendment as set forth. So do we have anyone that wants to make a comment on that? Well, actually, Ryan, do you want to, we held a public hearing last time. We talked extensively about it. So
Planning Commission held,
Oh, the-
held a public hearing and
I felt
talked
like I
about
was
it.
in that meeting.
Just watch it. Yeah. And we have a staff report that's been published, and if you have questions for Scarlett, certainly she can present that.
Okay. Applicant?
Hi, my name's Thor Cummings. Do you have any questions or concerns or things I can address specifically for it?
It's pretty cut and dried.
I think so.
And we heard
Are
the-
you disclosing the location?
I don't have a specific location. We're looking at two sites. They're both right on the highway.
Okay.
Okay. They're already
Sometimes
in-
it's easier to not disclose the location
they're-
than the neighbors don't.
They're already in commercial zoned places.
So you don't have that hurdle to, okay.
Just to clarify, Main Street, Gateway Drive, or Highway?
Not the old Main Street.
I'm just clarifying Main Street, Gateway Drive, or the highway. You mentioned all
The
three as
highway.
if they were
The
one.
highway.
Okay.
Yes.
Highway 165.
Yes.
Okay.
And your name is really Thor?
It is.
That's
yes.
that's a great name.
Thank you.
What was your last name?
Cummings.
Cummings.
So I wrote the proposed, if I can make a comment, I wrote the proposed code specifically so that it will apply for commercial gyms only, right? And the second piece is that I limit the amount of height to a specific minor percentage of the overall square feet, because I myself wouldn't want this giant monolithic structure that looks out of place. So it's limited to 35% of the overall square footage of the building or less. So it tries to limit things, but having that height allows for really really a modern Olympic style type of climbing center.
Okay.
So cool.
So the way the chart is, there's carrots, and you have to go down and read the footnote about it, and that's where it explains that it's for those gyms and indoor recreation facilities, I think are the two uses that are listed in there. And then it also, in that same carrot, talks about the 35% rule. So he's covered that really well.
Okay. Questions?
I just would love to see this type of facility on this side of town. Like, I think that gyms are well done privately. And I've had kids that have wanted to climb, and I've said no because I didn't want to buy them passes and then drive 30 minutes each way. So there's a little bit of personal bias toward indoor rec space on this side of town.
I just want to second that. I have a grandson who is I think he's a sponsor, but he's a climber, and they allowed him as a youth to compete against adult males, and gave him a run for their money because he's capable, and it's so fun to watch, and to have something recreational down at this end of the valley. I'll never use it, but I'll go watch. So,
Come on, you can belay.
Never say never.
I can belay. Yeah, I'll be a belay for you. Okay.
So is this mainly a climbing center, or do you have other opportunities
So
within
the
the building?
specific amendment isn't specific just for climbing centers, but my particular interest is to build a climbing center here in Providence. So, yes.
Great.
I have a couple sketches just as examples of what a stepped height building looks like, if you want to see those.
I wonder if we need to consider setbacks. That's one thing when I was looking at the sketches that I didn't consider, but while you were talking, I was like, What about setbacks with something that big? Scarlett, do you have a perspective on that? Does it need to be, does there need to be, so distance from the property line so that the height isn't too close to your most adjacent neighbor? Does that make sense?
Wouldn't that be worked through when they do a plan?
Wouldn't.
Right.
Yes, but
Fire
we're
code.
approving the code, so we would need, we
not
just want to make
setback
sure
in
to
the-
get it right.
In the commercial, we do setbacks a little bit different because they can actually have zero setback on side and rear yards if the buildings are constructed. So it would go through review to make sure that fire safety was taken into account, all kinds of different things. But if you wanted to tie setbacks to something, but it is a little bit different in residential where the setbacks are called out very specific. In residential, the most recent one that we did when we allowed accessory buildings, some changes in our accessory buildings, we did match it to the height and say that if you have a accessory building that, so it says 5 feet or 25% of the building height, whichever is greater. So if you felt like there was a reason to be able in the commercial zone to want to protect that type of, I don't know if it would be view or safety or whatever, we could do something like that. We could say the setback is X or 25% of the height or 10% of the height, whatever you felt like.
It just seems like when there's additional height, there should be additional space between it and the closest building.
For
But-
what reason?
Well, I'm,
If you build a,
the adjacent landowner, I think I would, I mean, the more height, I'm just thinking out loud because I haven't processed this. It just occurred to me now. But I think if I were the adjacent landowner and there was a really tall building next to me and I was kept to regular code because I didn't have a gym, that I would want some space.
well, you have to deal with your codes.
Right,
And
but
in
that's
the
what we're
commercial
putting-
code, it results in fire code. And if you put up your fire wall, you can build on property line.
Commercial.
Yes, you can. You can build right. That's why your fronts of your stores. That's why Ellen Eccles Theater has a big high part at the back. You can build on property line if you have the right fire rating. And if a person in commercial area wants to build next to you, he can either build away from you or put up a firewall and build next to you. That's where we see all kinds of that in commercial.
Okay.
Look at the high rises in your cities. They all follow the same code. It's fire code that determines.
Okay, but it's also city
right on-
code.
Huh?
It's also city code.
If you want to make
right?
it stricter, but
So I
you'd
just
have
wanted
to have
talk about it,
specific
that's all.
reason.
Yeah, I just wanted it to be considered.
You'd have to justify it.
I think it's important to bring up potential, are we missing anything here?
Right, that's all I'm
Yeah.
trying to do.
And I
Like
think
not
that's
just
really important to do that,
blanketly
yeah.
say, I want a gym.
Yeah.
So I want a climbing wall, so I approve it.
It's the same thing. Is there any concerns with the fire code? There is not. I think I've talked to Ryan about that. It doesn't appear to be any. I think that's a legitimate point. I thought, when you brought it up, I hadn't thought about that. But once again, we're talking about a 15-foot difference in code. So I think we're okay there. I don't think, and if it's out on the highway, I don't think it's going to be a residential issue. I'll be honest, if I was the business beside it and I was advertising on the radio, I'd be saying, I'm right next to that really tall building. So anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
Further questions? Okay, thank you. Questions, comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I can make a motion that we approve item, is it number 6? Ordinance 1126 for approval. 11-2026 for approval.
PCC 10 dash.
Okay, PCC 10-8-1 amendments.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Let's go to item number 7. This is a resolution 07-2026 tree inventory and management plan. Ryan's got some feedback to talk about this. I just want you to keep in mind that this will be like a master plan for the trees in the city.
That's right. This is a tree forest management master plan. We have hired a company that does it throughout the country. One of the large ones that does this. They have identified. They've come out. They've looked at each of the trees we have. They've identified the needs of those trees. This is like doing an arborist report for the entire city rather than doing one for each individual city or each individual project. This comes about for a number of reasons. Some because of trying to identify and save the trees we have. Some to address some of the emergency management issues we have. Since I've been here, one of the largest emergency management problems we have is wind and trees. This is about helping us to find ways to manage that forest. We have over 4,000 trees that belong to the city. They've identified some that need to be routinely pruned, some that are young and need to be trained, some that are dead and dying and that need to be removed, some that have hazards within the tree that need to be addressed. This helps us to move from a reactive position on our urban forest into more of a proactive and some, if it's education, to help the residents. We talk about a service project to help make our walkable city, address those trees, and it also identifies the tree population we have and how much of it, if a certain disease were to come to our city, because we have such a high percentage of a few, we're susceptible that a certain disease could wipe out a large portion. So it talks about being conscious about what works in our area, but also having a variety of species and be able to identify those. It identifies height. It identifies location. It has a outward-facing map that we put out on our social media as this was going through. So we invited and let everybody look at the results as the report was being drafted, and so those trees and the plan for some of those trees was included, and we'll keep it outward facing so that there will be transparency in what we're doing. They'll identify, if you wanted to know what your tree is, you could go to that map, and if you have a tree in your park strip, you could see what condition it was identified in, what needs it has. Now that we've identified, we're looking for the adoption from the council to say, okay, we've identified this. Now this is how we want to address, and we have had like I said, a national professional firm tell us how we can help to manage urban forests. Before this, we didn't know. This is moving from a didn't know into a realm of having a plan. This is a big deal for us. We can also use this to apply for other grants. It is a step in the process of much more things to help us. So it's not about getting rid of all of our trees. It is about taking care of them on a
making them
scale.
healthy.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway, any
Thanks,
questions?
Ryan. Questions, comments? We're looking for a motion.
I just have a question.
Okay.
And maybe it was my own computer, but just for the public, the link on the agenda, at least for me, didn't work. And I know, so maybe that's something to fix if someone wants to look later, but
We certainly can do that. It might have been. I'll have to check to see which link was of the plan. It didn't, the link to the plan.
It's not the plan, it's the resolution, so it would only be the resolution,
Oh.
it wouldn't be the plan.
Oh, okay.
It might
Yeah,
be
but-
nice to add a link to the plan though, to the agenda.
We can probably do that. This isn't.
Ryan sent
going
us the
here.
plan.
I had it already,
So
but
we
just
have
for-
it.
We have it.
Resolution should include the plan.
Oh, okay, it just didn't work.
Broken or something, but
Yeah, it looks like that link's broken. Sorry about
So
that.
we'll correct that.
We'll
yeah,
correct
when I
the
give it
link.
to the mayor, it'll have the plan behind it. When she signs it and upload it, it'll definitely have. the
Okay.
plan, so.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion. We approve item number 7, resolution 07-2026, tree inventory and management plan.
Okay. Do we
I
have a
second it.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
One question. The plan actually says community forest management plan. Does that need to be clearly identified? I don't know. What did you say in your motion, Dave?
I just read off the
Resolution, tree inventory and management plan.
inventory and management plan.
Community forest management plan for Providence City. Do we need to identify it that way?
You know what? Yeah, it's always good to err on the side of that. The plan is drafted and the plan is titled Community Forest Management Plan. It is a tree and management plan. That is, but it does have a specific title. So one's a general, like one would be our saying our
Master.
general plan, and one would be Providence City master plan. One's more of a generic title and one's a brand title. But yeah, I think including them both in the motion would probably be
The other
appropriate.
thing is, presumably, this plan is good for a certain amount of time. So if we name it exactly what's on there, if we change it, that means we've got to change this, right?
Yeah, the nice thing about including that, to Brent's point, and adding it in, if somebody were to search for it, it would have that name and title to help in the search if they were searching our minutes or searching our website. So I would say yes. If possible, I would include that.
So I'd amend to say tree inventory and community forest management plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I will amend my motion then to that we approve item number 7, resolution 07-2026, tree inventory and community forest management plan.
Okay, are you good to second that as well?
And I will second that one.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item number 8 is the Cache County Sheriff's Office Providence Law Enforcement Contract. This is something that that we've been working on. So do you want to explain the contract?
Absolutely. So when we got the proposed law enforcement contract, we looked at possibly adjusting the amount of the contract with other relationships we had with the county. We've resolved or postponed some of those items. So at this point, the budget matches what this contract is. This is the contract and the amount of hours proposed and recommended by the sheriff when he came to present. So this proposed contract does match the budget and does match his proposal. If you would like to make a modification, you can. You could modify the hours plus or minus, or you could accept as has been proposed here. So.
So anybody have questions?
This is is it a 3-year contract?
Yeah, I believe it's a 3-year
Am
contract.
I reading that correctly?
I'll-
I think so.
I
Or
believe it
through
is.
2029 or half of 2029?
I think it would be yearly contract, so it's
Fiscal
I
year,
think it's
right?
3
Fiscal year.
fiscal year.
3 fiscal years, yeah. Okay,
Yes, 3 fiscal years.
thank you.
Further questions? Okay, I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve item number 8, the CCSO Providence Law Enforcement contract.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further feedback, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 9. This is a sewer night work noise variance. This is something that's temporary in nature because of the sewer work that's going to be happening on 12th South. So Ryan, you want to just explain what
Yes,
we're doing?
and I pulled up the wrong agenda on it. The updated one had that, so I apologize. I don't have the 9 on my screen here, but it was published and was sent out that way. So we have the contractor has a requirement from UDOT to work at night in the UDOT right of way, and so that's what they'd like to do. Our ordinance requires construction and noise ordinance requires work to be done between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. Those conflict, and they are asking the council for a exception for this particular project, that while they are working in Providence and the state right of way, that they be allowed to work at night. So that's what this is, and so it will be 12th South, and the intersection into Macy's there. From there, where our sewer line is, they are replacing that sewer line, and we're upgrading that sewer line. So that's the section, just that half a block really into Providence, and then the highway portion. Logan would take care of any night work that's done in their side. So we're just talking that piece for us.
Do we know yet the schedule for when they're going to be closing stuff up? And
They have started the project. They're starting from the west, coming east.
Okay.
So it's likely that we would be in the September-October timeframe.
and they're closing that road fully, or are they going to have?
I think they'll
one
leave a
lane?
lane open if they can, but that would be a question on their side, a question for Logan. But it will. I mean, sewer lines are deep, and so it's likely to close the road completely. They're hopeful that they won't, but they've been notified that it's a high possibility. But they do have a very good public involvement person that has been out to every business, that has helped them to understand those questions of the businesses along there. So they're really reaching out specifically to help those.
A lot of our citizens go on that road.
I understand that, and we've been talking about this for probably a year, that is coming, and it's coming, and we're going to keep talking about it, but it is coming, and that road will close, and we hope to present the worst case, assume that it will close for months. So
Is there a public information site that we can?
yes,
Put on
I can send that out to the council, and we can post it. But yes,
can post it?
I
Okay,
saw a
that'd be
card
good.
for it just today when I got back.
I think
from
we
that.
just blame Logan.
It is a Logan project. We are paying for it because it is our sewer, but it is mostly in their road, and
It's in Logan.
and it is 90% in Logan, and we're paying 90% of the bill because we're affecting by the underground, but they are the
building it.
surface. It is really theirs. They're
Taking ownership.
their ownership. They are leading the project. They are responsible for the public information. They are responsible for.
Are they
all
going to
of
leave the old pipe working and put this one on top?
it. Parallel, yes. In parts, yes.
All right.
Yep. There is some benefits to that. It just needs to be more capacity. It's not that that pipe has failed, it's that more capacity is needed.
Right.
So,
In this, I'm reading, it says the special variance shall be in effect beginning Monday, August 10th until Friday, September 18th, 2026. Crews will be out one of these nights rehabilitating the existing sewer in the intersection of SR 165 and 1200 South. So that's approximate dates, I guess.
there you go. There you go. Yep.
Okay, so
We'll see if they are on schedule, and if they aren't, we can have them come back. But at this point, we're hoping that that's the ideal time frame. I will tell you, I'm a little more pessimistic than that.
You're skeptical? Are you saying that?
A little bit. So I want to give a little wigway. But you noticed in theirs, they're only asking for a day or two. I think it even said a day, but I
Just
think
one of these nights.
yeah.
Well, okay.
Well, but don't they have to cross the highway 165?
Technically, that crossing is actually in Logan.
So that was part of Logan. So we're only talking the west side of Macy's through that.
So it's
the
UDOT
bank,
and
yeah.
Logan that will.
UDOT requires it. Logan is willing to do some. Our piece is just in
One block.
that west side of Macy's, just that little. They probably can do our piece in a day.
Okay.
But
They think they can.
they think they can, and I'm a little pessimistic to that. I think it'll take a day to dig it, a day to fix it. They'll come back a day later to pave it. I think there will be more than a day. But that's what they're requesting at this point. And
Yeah,
so-
but they just won't make any noise the rest
there you
of
go.
the nights.
There you go.
So-
See, that's absolutely
Only at night.
Only at night.
That sewer's not very deep through there. When it went in,
True.
it's not very deep coming along past Macy's.
It's true. It's true. But sewer is much deeper than when we talk about other projects. Sewer is generally deeper than water. Sewer is always deeper than sidewalks.
Sure.
Always deeper than asphalt. So it is our deepest of utilities. So you're right. There's things in the city that are much deeper in sewer. But of the utilities, it is our deepest in that spot.
They have some.
Be deep enough to gravity flow too.
Well, it'll have to lay in the same line that it is, same gradient as it is.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
it'll
Not in
have
the
to
same
lay-
trench, but in
no,
the same
gradient.
Yes, correct.
And I think when it gets to First North, it drops through a manhole. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I do think it drops because 100 North is considerably deeper than that line coming from the south, if I remember correctly.
I don't know the answer to that, and I haven't dug and haven't climbed in the manhole.
Are they going to put in? They're going to put in a new lift station and that, or a new metering station. and
new
that will be-
meter? We will replace our meter. Yes.
Okay, and that's on the west side. Right
we
in
will
front of
we will
that
place
building.
the meter there. There will be a new meter location.
Okay, yeah. One of the, I guess they'll have to worry about. Well, if they work at night, the businesses might have access during the day.
That would be the hope.
That would be hope, especially going down 12 South from Highway 165 West. They're connecting now. They're digging down and connecting now. And they're transporting the sewer over the ground, as far as I know right now, to bypass that segment they're taking out. On Second North, they transported the sewer on top of the road while they replaced the sewer line under the road. I observed that while they were doing 200 North.
Yes, I wouldn't be running over any pipes.
What's that?
I said I wouldn't be running over any pipes if I were you.
Well, and you're talking about they're doing that now, or that's what they did initially when they put it in?
They're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're picking it up at the manhole up by towards Watkins and bringing it over ground via pump, putting it in while they're opening up that sewer line and making the connection. And it looks like they're putting in, is it a 12 or a 14 inch or 16 inch? It's big.
21 inch.
21. Yeah, it's big.
It's big.
That is big.
Anyway, they're doing that now.
I think the UDOT piece is the domino for the night work. And the UDOT requires work in their right of way to be done at night. So that is the domino that this is creating.
So that doesn't make it for sure that it's going to happen
No.
for Les Schwab. And
Correct.
I see. Okay,
Correct. The
car
right of
wash.
way for UDOT is a night right of way requirement. And so that is the start of the domino. How far out they go for that's really another piece of the puzzle. But the domino is UDOT's requirement.
That only controls Highway 165.
Item 3 says Sunrise will notify residents and the public via social media regarding this night work. Any idea what type of social media they're going to use?
I would assume Facebook and Instagram and they may use the radio. I don't know all of the social media or the media in which they'd use, but they're well trained
They got it down.
professional
They didn't ask
PIO.
us.
They're better than I could plan out. So
We might have to give our residents in our notice or in our in our billing where they can go to understand what's open and what's not open. We may have to give them that link.
yeah, that's good.
We can
good
do that
spot.
on our
We
social
usually
media.
put out we usually do a recap in the newsletter about what happened, so it's likely to get recapped in there. We'll work on that.
Great. So I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. And if I can get back to it. Well, I don't have the number in front of me.
Or either way.
Okay, thank you.
Fine.
I'll make a motion that we approve the noise variance,
Temporary.
temporary noise variance for sewer work on 1200 South night work noise ordinance. Providence City Code. Does that work, or did I give you enough?
I think that works.
Okay. So I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so let's go to item number 10. This is a fire district feasibility study consultant. There's been a fire district in place for many, many, many years. And now the county is talking about putting everybody, that it was never really active. And they're wanting to add all the cities. And we need a consultant to help us determine if we can stay out of that. So.
Yeah. So this is about selecting a consultant. We sent out and tried to find an attorney that could help and was knowledgeable. We found one of those, and the next recommendation or the next step in the process is to select a firm in order to do a feasibility study. It does require that the councils do that selection. So I have gotten two options for you. They are significantly different in price. One is Zions Bank, and they did a feasibility study for the district to talk about expansion and working and what it might look like. So they've already been involved. So our study there is much cheaper. EFG has not been involved previously, and so they're coming in without a previous experience to the fire district. So it will cost us more. It would be independent, but I think we could build on what Zions has already done for a lot less. And so I would recommend Zions. But if you'll recall, at our last meeting, we discussed the fire district. There is talk about having a fire district. At this point, the only fire or EMS is that the county has on the south would be in Hiram, so that would be our source. If we selected to stay and move from our contract we've just renewed for another 5 years with Logan, if we were to choose to leave that and go to the county, that would significantly adjust our ISO rating. I think they updated the PPC rating, and used to be ISO. That's the common term that most people use for it. We're currently at a 2, and that would likely move us to a 9 to move to the county, which would likely, based on some research and help from our staff, it would likely double, either increase our fire insurance or our homeowner insurance from by at least 30%, and likely double if we were to stay. And at this point, we're already paying Logan for fire coverage and have a contract to continue that. If we go to the county is currently using a portion of our money for the fire and EMS throughout the county. They are currently using about $430,000 of our money each year through our property tax to the county, and then they take that out of that general fund and utilize. So we would. They have let Logan. They're reducing Logan's tax on that. We would like to be in the same boat if this proceeds. But our next step is a feasibility study to understand what it would cost the district, what it would cost us, and kind of work into that. So this would be the next step if we want to have that option to get out. So anyway, any questions?
This just gives us good information about where we ought to be doing it. The county executive is trying to reduce double taxation, which we're in favor of. But we need somebody to tell us what that means to us.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the proposal from Zions Bank to do the feasibility study of us pulling out of the fire district. And as Ryan and I talked about it, Logan has an ISO rating of 2. The county's got an ISO rating of 9.
The county's got a 5, but our position, if we are serviced out of Hiram, would likely be a 9.
Be a 9 because of the distance.
Because of the
traveled,
distance.
the time to get here,
Correct.
and the service that could be provided. Anyway, I correct my error. Anyway, I think it's and when we talk about 400,000+ that we are being that were given to the fire district at this point in time with no benefits. If we could pull out, we could take that 400,000+, add it to what we're paying Logan, and it would significantly reduce the amount of overall costs, take away from the total cost that we're paying Logan and add that amount of money to it.
Or we might save it for a different station or do something. Maybe there would be options. Yeah, there would be options.
Yeah. Anyway, my motion is that we accept Zions Bank proposal and move forward with a feasibility study.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Need a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we don't have any study items. We have public comments if anyone wants to make a comment. Okay, we've got a couple of people. Mayor? Former mayor, I don't know what to call you. John?
This is why I really came here for this item.
Okay.
You still can't hear me?
No.
Maybe.
Well,
my
the
voice.
people online can't hear you.
Okay. This is why I really came to this council meeting, is for this item here. I'm just kidding. Anyway, just a little bit of history, and I want to step back and talk about this whole. When I was first became mayor and I walked into my office, there was a file folder on my desk. There was a letter from the mayor of Logan City. He gave the city of Providence 1 year's notice. They were going to cancel the fire contract. At the time we were paying $74,000 for this entire city. That's fire and EMS. And by the way, EMS is 80% of the calls. Brent probably knows that.
It is.
Not fire. And it said, but if you're okay with renewing the contract, this is going to go from $74,000 to $405,000. So my first day on the job as mayor, I had to deal with a crisis. I mean, this entire city was up in arms. And we had the previous mayor and other people saying, we just need to have a volunteer fire department. How would that work, Brent? At the time, my neighbor was a guy named Mark Meeker. He had retired from Sacramento County, probably one of the most knowledgeable fire chiefs probably in the West Coast. And he took a job at Logan City because Logan City had some issues, and the mayor brought in anyway, I think he was in the job for 4 or 5 years. He was our neighbor a block away. Carrie remembers, just down the street. A couple of years before that, he warned me. He said, you know, I'm going to retire. By the way, there'll be a new fire chief. But Logan City's going to come to Providence City and ask for a huge increase. And 2 years later, that's what happened. But what he told me is that when he was the fire chief in Logan City, he came to the city council and the mayor, and he says, we need to build another fire station on the south end of Logan. We'd like to build it on Gateway Drive up here and Spring Creek Parkway. I think that's where it was. If the city will build the fire station, Logan City will equip it and man it and cover all the costs. The city of Providence just needs to build the fire station, $500,000. And we will lock in the rate for the next 20 years, $70,000. So there, if the council had been insightful instead of short-sighted, you know, and for another 10 years, we would have been paying $70,000 to a fire contract. To make a long story short, we had workshops on Saturday. We brought in the public, and anyway, I won't go into that, but we had to all do our homework. And one of the things we found out was even at $405,000, it was a screaming deal. But here's the flip side. It's not all about money. It's about response time. Response time up here is a whole lot faster to get to the other corner of the city than it is from Golf Course Road, where the station eventually got built. So, but, you know, the fire chief back then, but, you know, after I was mayor, Chief Hanig was saying, you know, Logan City is going to come back to you, you know, keep a good relationship with them. But it's not just about the money. I mean, just think about a family that has, you know, someone that has a heart attack, and the response time instead of 6 minutes was 20 minutes, you know, from Hiram. Then all of a sudden the residents who screamed and yelled about having a fire station down there and all the emotion and showed up in the council chamber and convinced the council, you know, it was short-sighted. But the families that lose a loved one because it's 20 minutes response time rather than 6 minutes, and these guys do an excellent, exceptionally good job. They really do. That's something you shouldn't take lightly. Even if it costs a little bit more, response coming from Hiram.
It's a long ways.
Yeah. So,
Plus, it's volunteer right now.
no, this is one I'm going to drill down into as well. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Aiden Mortensen. I originally came here today to talk about what came to light at the Zollinger baseball complex. It sounds like the city is in works to approve a sports lighting contract. And we sent Scarlett a email talking about the way that you guys were getting the proposal, if it was through a bid or a cooperative contract.
Pass that on to Ty and Ryan.
Ty and Ryan.
He's the city recorder and Ty's the city manager, and they have more, they're the appropriate to respond to.
I see. What on that, how did you guys go about getting a quote?
Yeah, we have it's kind of more of a design build rather than direct RFP quote. Went to a design build process. We oftentimes do that with specialty items to do that. So if you look at it at a design build process, we will look at what we need, what products we need, and the style we want, and build and design it, and then work to that with inside of the budget that's the council approved. So
I see. Okay. My main question is based on sitting back there for right around 3 hours, I'm surprised on how long these meetings are, to be honest with you. But that was interesting. But sitting back here, I was looking at your 6 key initiatives. In my opinion, I kind of know the sports line decently well. A background for what we do. We actually lit up your guys' ballpark right there at Providence Elementary about 6 years ago. And that was our first project we've done. Thanks to you guys for allowing us to do it as well. But the lighting that you guys would, I'm thinking is going to be approved for Zollinger Park would not necessarily be something that these 6 initiatives would allow for, due to the fact that the light pollution would cause issues to neighbors. And I think if you bought maybe a more quality lighting system, it might improve the quality of life for the neighbors around the park and the players as well. But
why don't you send me those details if you like? That would be great.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tell us your name again.
Aiden Mortensen.
Aiden Mortensen.
Mortensen Electric is, okay.
Okay. Thank you. Any further comments? Okay. So we'll close that portion of the meeting for public comments, and we'll do staff reports.
Great. I think we have covered a lot of things that I go over. Worked really hard on the COG applications and getting that, and a lot of that. There's a lot of work that comes into these meetings, so I don't have a lot of extra detail items. I've met with each one of you, and have updated on any of the items that I'm aware of. I will tell you one thing that I do like to always brag about a few things that we do as a city. I met with Professor Can from USU about the idea of Providenceology. I think Carrie, you were there when we learned that at the league. I think we're going to have USU political science department working on that for us. We didn't get an intern, but we got that, so I think that will be a great item. I have found of a new grant that we've just submitted potential projects for. We need to pare that down, but a new one. The state of Utah got a grant for filling in sidewalks and bike lanes and some of those things. And so I submitted them $3.5 million worth of projects this morning. But because, but honest, yeah, we don't ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. But one of the things was that they came, and I'd like to maybe point this one out to you so you understand. The value of plans and the value of being prepared is that this grant came out. They needed quick turnaround, shovel-ready projects, and we've got $3.5 million of shovel-ready projects. All we need is the money, and we could turn that around. And we turned that around as far as a number within a week. And because of our plans are detailed and ready. Our GIS is established and ready. Because we are proactive and have the support of the team and the staff, we can turn those projects around. We start working once the budget is approved, we start working on those projects right away, whether that's lighting in the trail in the Zollinger Park, the path and the ball diamond, and the pickleball courts. We addressed those things and we start to work on those, and we're chip sealing, we're repairing sidewalks. We have a sidewalk plan. We identified all the trip hazards, and we've done that. And you see us this year replacing broken sidewalks in different pieces, and we've been doing that because we have plans. That again, that we've talked about this tree inventory plan and the amount of work that goes into that. But we take and move that to a proactive. And as we do that, then when a grant comes up, when somebody else's money comes available, we're able to act. When we find a Bureau of Reclamation, and the mayor's been extremely helpful in that. When we find one of those that are saying, hey, it just came out. Well, we got a project ready for that. We just need support letters. We need to build a few things together. And as we mobilize as a team, we're able to save extensive amounts of city dollars by being prepared.
What did we get? 12 letters?
You know what? I think so. I haven't counted through. You've done such a good job. I keep putting them into the folder. But one of the things is our water meter. We've updated a lot of that. I think I've showed most of you the depth of what we can do with that. And we're making amazing progress in that, helping people identify leaks. I will tell you that in this job, in the last 6 months, I've worked really hard to try to send these leak notes out and some of that. Honestly, I got more thank you notes by telling people they got a leak than I've had in my career. So I'm ecstatic about the project. But we are working to increase every aspect of Providence and really to fulfill each of the general plan initiatives, and we work very hard to make sure that those things are accomplished. So anyway, Ty, do you have anything more to report? Scarlett?
We said goodbye to Bob Beankey on the planning commission. His term was up and being closed.
He got a higher calling.
Yeah. We have several people that have
You might need to speak
submitted
in the mic.
resumes. So we will be scheduling those for the mayor and Ryan and I to chat with. Our Historic Preservation Commission is looking for a member or two, so we still have some openings there as well. But I was really pleased with the response from the newsletter on the people that have reached out on the Planning Commission. So
Yeah, we got 3 applicants. That's unheard of.
yeah, bing, bing, bing. We actually have another one, but she hasn't decided if she's a good fit or not.
And we have another interested that came and had some interest but hasn't made an application yet either. So we have
awesome.
We have a good interest, so that's great. So
Yeah.
anyway, any questions you have for the staff? Anything you have that you'd like to know about?
I'd just like to say thank you.
Yeah,
We appreciate the staff. We really do. I have never felt so comfortable with the operation of Providence City in all the years that I've lived here as I do at this point in time.
We have a great team.
Yeah,
Great
we
team.
really appreciate you. And I read through your note about the things that there was questions about the pay going to the staff and whatnot. I read through what's happened there, and the conflicts that used to arise and the problems that used to arise, and because of skillful politics, a lot of them are put to bed, and long before they fester and become a mess. I appreciate it, Ryan, and the rest of the staff. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
It's a heartfelt thank you.
Thank you.
Tough decisions that have to be made, but it's always good to have somebody have your back when you're having to make those tough decisions. So, okay. Thanks to the staff. Thanks to everyone. I know it's been a hot summer and they're out there working, and so we appreciate what the Public Works guys are doing, and we have old pipes.
The city. You're talking about the city, right?
I have a few old pipes myself.
She wasn't. She was directing that directly
To
at
me?
me.
Oh, you? Oh, good. Whew, I thought it was me.
You're not as old.
Well, Brent and I are the oldest ones on here.
I know.
So, okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, second?
I will always willingly second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for all your work and study.